Chen Xiang was as innocent as a child. After crying and feeling sad, she fell asleep in Chen Xiang's arms. Chen Xiang knew that in the future, Dongfang Jing would definitely grow up, and this world was extremely cruel. Although she had always wanted to stay at peace with the world, she had been forced to come into contact with the dangers of this world for many years. Chen Xiang was as innocent as a child. After crying and feeling sad, she fell asleep in Chen Xiang's arms. Chen Xiang knew that in the future, Dongfang Jing would definitely grow up, and this world was extremely cruel. Although she had always wanted to stay at peace with the world, she had been forced to come into contact with the dangers of this world for many years. Let her stay in the Zilan Mountain Valley. It's rare to see a girl as pure as water like her. It's good that she's alive like this. Bai Yu could not help but exclaim. Even though she and Su Meiyao were both women, they had experienced a lot of things since they were young and became strong female rankers. Although they were not in contact with the outside world and could not bathe under the sunlight inside the ring, and it was also extremely cold and desolate, and they did not have any powerful strength right now, they had to admit that they had lived a relaxed life during this period of time. Dongfang Jing woke up after a few hours. She wasn't crying right now, only sadness in her eyes. But to a girl like her, she was already very strong and was able to recover so quickly. "Brother, this dress is really pretty," Dongfang Jing asked as she looked at her extremely beautiful white dress. "Cough cough, I got my sisters to help you change this. At that time, you pas set out and you were wounded. Your entire body was covered with blood." Chen Xiang blushed. He had peeked at her taking a bath back then, but he was very happy to have such a good girl. Dongfang Jing left Chen Xiang's embrace and walked to the side of a small stream. Using her tender and white hands, she used a small amount of water to wash her tear-stained jade face, then used her power to adjust her body, restoring a sliver of blood vitality to her innocent face. Although she looked the same as before, she had become much stronger. Chen Xiang kept looking at her, and could not help but think of this innocent and cute little sister who looked like she was hacking away at that corpse crazily. This made him a little worried that Dongfang Jing would lose his way due to hatred and become a devil lady. However, he soon discovered that his worries were unnecessary. "Big brother, don't worry about me. I will definitely take care of myself in the future, but you are the one who makes others worry." Dongfang Jing smiled, and seeing her smiling face, Chen Xiang's mood inexplicably became better. Dongfang Jing took the wet silk cloth and walked to Chen Xiang's side, gently helping him to insert the dust and sweat on his face. "Brother, do you really want to know what happened to me?" Dongfang Jing asked softly, then sat by his side with his head lowered. It was as if she had gone from a child to an adult overnight, and her mind had become more mature. "Don't think too much. Live well." Chen Xiang knew that something must have happened between Dongfang Jing and her father. Furthermore, Dongfang Jing's current strength was now extremely strong, because she had merged with the blood soul of the Dongfang family. Dongfang Jing nodded his head. "Big brother, you're so powerful. You've encountered so many big things, and were once surrounded and attacked by so many strong people. Furthermore, you've been disgraced by many people and cursed at them." Chen Xiang laughed, caressed her face and said, "Not at all, can I be your brother? Big brother, you have to be careful in Sacred Dan Realm. Daddy and I met a very terrifying guy, and that guy he's dead." A flash of grief said through Dongfang Jing's eyes, "My father assimilated the clan's blood soul into my body then, he blocked those powerful fellows. Give me some time to escape. I met the people from Purple Moon Imperial Land and Dongfang Lingyun on the way." Chen Xiang pulled her closer, gently caressing her hair. He said, "Since it's all in the past, I'll let Big Brother handle those strong fellows. What are they like?" "They say they are from the Divine Devil cult. Because the blood soul of our Dongfang family is something that the Divine Devil cult cannot allow, they want to kill us," Dongfang Jing said. I will remember this name. Chen Xiang patted her back and said, I'll bring you to a place, I feel that it's very suitable for you. Dongfang Jing also knew that she couldn't always follow Chen Xiang because Chen Xiang had big plans to accomplish and she was too weak, so she couldn't help at all. She would only be a burden to Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang's injuries were more or less healed. There was no problem to bring him along on the road. Big brother, Leng Yulan is also your recognized sister, so does that mean she's my big sister? Dongfang Jing held Chen Xiang's arm and slowly walked to Zilan Mountain Valley with him. At this moment, she was much more cheerful. Of course. Although your sister has a fiery temper and is quite overbearing, you will definitely treat her well. She is just like you, a little stupid. Chen Xiang knew that Leng Yulan was just AB** starred, but he had more experience than Dongfang Jing. He was very experienced in battle, and when it came to killing, he was even more ruthless. When he was at Three Realms Talk, Dongfang Jing had also seen this eye-catching, white-haired, ice-cold beauty. She indeed did not look weak, and she couldn't help but want to see her elder sister. Of course, there was also Xue Xianxian, his sister-in-law. Little scoundrel, I've never seen you be so gentle to me before. Heh. Long Xue was extremely unhappy. Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord, are you jealous? Chen Xiang laughed. Who said I have never been gentle to you before? Last time, I was very gentle to you. Long Xue let out a charming snort, and no longer paid any attention to Chen Xiang. The last time she merged with Chen Xiang's divine soul, Chen Xiang had indeed been very gentle to her. A lot of people had come to check the place where the battle with Primordius took place, but they could not find any clues. However, the matter of Primordius's disappearance had been linked together by someone. 5 days after the incident, Chen Xiang and Dongfang Jing arrived at the entrance of the Zilan Mountain Valley. As soon as someone stepped into the Zilan Mountain Valley, the guardian immediately appeared, but she did not recognize Chen Xiang. Yunzhu wore a set of purple robes. You too, this is the Zilan Mountain Valley, are you looking for us Valley Masters? Yunzhu's voice was still as gentle as ever. Although she was a fire wolf, but she looked more like a sheep. Sister Yunzhu, I am Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang stuck out his tongue. It's really you? Yunzhu said in pleasant surprise. Second sister said that you might come. I thought you came here 2 or 3 days ago. Who is this beautiful girl? Your wife? Yunzhu giggled, causing Dongfang Jing's beautiful face to turn red. She is. My recognized sister, let's talk after we enter. Chen Xiang quickly explained. After Chen Xiang let Dongfang Jing and Yunzhu get to know each other, Chen Xiang then sent a sound transmission to Yunzhu, informing him of their tragic encounters before. This made Yunzhu suddenly feel tender and affectionate towards Dongfang Jing, and he very willingly agreed to take good care of Dongfang Jing, because she was originally an orphan without any parents. After entering the valley, Chen Xiang and Dongfang Jing immediately saw a noble and dignified purple-dressed lady, who was gracefully sitting on a stone stool, holding a book in her hands. She was engrossed in reading, her moon-like eyebrows slightly knitted together. After entering the valley, Chen Xiang and Dongfang Jing immediately saw a noble and dignified purple-dressed lady, who was gracefully sitting on a stone stool, holding a book in her hands. She was engrossed in reading, her moon-like eyebrows slightly knitted together. Big sis, who are you looking for? Yunzhu shouted. Yan Xilan immediately turned her head. Upon seeing Chen Xiang, her beautiful face was filled with joy. Following that, like a light breeze, she carried an intoxicating fragrance, becoming stronger. You little fellow, I was worried about you back then. Although her tone was full of reproach, she was really happy. Back then, she had personally witnessed Chen Xiang being beaten up into a bloody, missed by Primordius. At this time, Dongfang Jing was also appreciating the beauty in front of him. Her smile and Arai's smile were both extremely beautiful, although her aunt Dongfang Xinyue was also an exceptional beauty, but this was the first time she had seen the Yan Xilan in front of her. Bai Xing came back a few days ago. She said that she wanted to leave for a period of time. By the way, why did you only ask her to go? Not call us? Yan Xilan reprimanded. This. If Sister Bai Xing were to use that kind of sneak attack, it would be better. Chen Xiang did not tell Yan Xilan what happened that day, because Bai Xing also did not say anything. The effects of the incident were simply too great. The great clan elder of the Super Yuan Mountain had been killed, and it was related to Bai Xing as well. Sneak attacks and the like. Big Sis and Third Sis are very good at them too. Du Yenyao had tied his ponytail and was wearing soft armor. His face had a look of weariness, and a bright smile appeared on it. He was no longer the cold Du Yenyao from before. Her Du family had changed her greatly after all that had happened. Of the Zilan Mountain Valley's 4 sisters, Yan Xilan was the oldest, Bai Xing second, third, and fourth. However, Chen Xiang knew that they would soon have a 5th sister. Dongfang Jing now knew why Chen Xiang said that this place was suitable for her. She discovered that the women here were all extremely strong, and they also had a lot of experiences. You are my fiancé. Back then, you ran away just like that. You really aren't worth it. Du Yenyao laughed. When she saw Dongfang Jing, she asked anxiously, "So this is the wife that you mentioned earlier?" Yan Xilan chuckled. "This is my real wife, you're just a fake. This is my recognized sister. I saved her in time. You all are aware of my current situation, you can't take her with you." Chen Xiang said. When the 3 girls heard about Dongfang Jing's experience and saw how innocent and beautiful he looked, their hearts filled with love for him. Especially Du Yenyao, she felt even more touched, but although he looked weak, his eyes revealed a strong light, causing the 3 girls to nod their heads secretly in their hearts. "Jingjing, is there anyone else at home?" Yunju asked. "There's also an aunt. She came here as well, but we were separated." Dongfang Jing looked at Chen Xiang. "There's still Big Brother." Chen Xiang would never tell them that Dongfang Jing's aunt was one of his female slaves. Very quickly, Yan Xilan and the other 2 became very close to Dongfang Jing, and there was no place for Chen Xiang to interrupt them. Seeing this scene, one thing in his heart was resolved. He found out from Fan Yakin that Yan Xilan was no longer helping the Sacred Dance School to manage business, and he couldn't help but want to take Yan Xilan, along with Bai Xing, Yunju and Du Yenyao, to his dragon subduing school. Of course, he knew that Du Yenyao would not leave, because he did not know where Du Hai was right now. If he could find Du Hai and bring him to the dragon subduing school, Du Yenyao would also go there. Although there was temporarily no immortal qi there, that place would become Di Tian sooner or later. Lu Menger and the others did not come here, which made Chen Xiang a little worried for them. In the current Di Tian's eyes, their powers were not considered weak, but they couldn't do it here. "Yenyao, do you know where your grandfather will go?" Chen Xiang suddenly asked. Du Yenyao, who was chatting with Dongfang Jing, suddenly stopped smiling and shook his head. "I don't know, he's always like this in the past. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't even know where he would be. But I feel that he should be inside the chaotic mountain. After the Super Yuan Mountain killed my father, he immediately went to the Super Yuan Mountain. It was said that a huge battle had erupted inside, and the people of the Super Yuan Mountain declared that my grandfather escaped after being heavily injured." Chen Xiang was already very familiar with Du Yenyao now, but when she saw that Du Yenyao had changed a lot, especially his change in personality, she did not seem to be afraid of provoking him, and continued to ask, "I want to know why Super Yuan Mountain was targeted by Super Yuan Mountain, is that all right?" "I'm fine." Du Yenyao knew that Chen Xiang was capable. If Chen Xiang wanted to ask about these things, it would mean that Chen Xiang wanted to help her. Even if Chen Xiang had not said it, she would have asked Chen Xiang to help her. Super Yuan Mountain initially wanted our Du family to submit to them, but my grandfather was not willing. After that, the Super Yuan Mountain secretly attacked us. But when my grandfather went to the Super Yuan Mountain, some elders of my Du family took charge of the entire Du family. Du Yenyao clenched her jade fists and said. Chen Xiang guessed that the same thing had happened to the Fan family, but it seemed that the Fan family had not pledged his allegiance to him yet. Why is the Fan family still fine? I told you about Fan Yakan and Lin Shi. Although the families backing them are all suppressed, they don't seem to be in control. Chen Xiang asked. Because they already got what they wanted from Fan family and the Lin family. A group of experts from the Lin clan and the Fan family were all killed. There was nothing to be worried about. Even though the evil creatures of Du family sold the entire Du family, the Super Yuan Mountain still could not get it, because it was in my grandfather's hands. Now, Dongfang Jing also knew that Du Yenyao had suffered the same fate as her. Seeing Du Yenyao's face filled with anger, she held Du Yenyao's jade hands and Du Yenyao also smiled at her. Qin Xiang took a deep breath. It looks like you're in a lot of trouble right now. That thing is in your grandfather's hands, and your grandfather's whereabouts are unknown. They will definitely come back to find you. That son of the Super Yuan Mountain kept on yelling that he wanted to forcefully marry Yenyao. She is your fiancée. Do you have the heart to watch? Yunzhu laughed mischievously. When Dongfang Jing was chatting with these three women earlier, he knew that the relations Hi+P between Chen Xiang and his wife was fake. Chen Xiang also joked, "This brat won't live for long. Who asked him to set his eyes on my fiancée?" Du Yenyao scoffed, but when she thought back to the days when she was with Chen Xiang, she couldn't help but sigh secretly. Back then, when she was infected with the spring poison, and was entangled with Chen Xiang to purge the flames, this was the thing that she wanted to forget the most. However, it would often surface in her mind. After Chen Xiang left the Zilan mountain valley, he rushed towards the chaotic mountain. Previously, the elder from the Super Yuan Mountain had said that a meeting would be held inside to discuss the matters of the ancient powers coming to find treasures. Those ancient powers that came from Di Tian had a map of the great treasure of the chaotic mountain in their hands. After Chen Xiang left the Zilan mountain valley, he rushed towards the chaotic mountain. Previously, the elder from the Super Yuan Mountain had said that a meeting would be held inside to discuss the matters of the ancient powers coming to find treasures. Those ancient powers that came from Di Tian had a map of the great treasure of the chaotic mountain in their hands. The chaotic mountain was not just a mountain, but a remote place on the 18th floor of the sacred Dan realm. To enter, one would have to pass through a very dangerous forest. It was said that there was a dangerous place that separated the chaotic mountain from the outside world. There was a very strange mountain inside. It was said that it was a huge boulder that the mysterious primal chaos realm had dropped on the sacred Dan realm, so Chen Xiang didn't know much about the chaotic mountain, but he knew how to go there. The chaotic mountain was equivalent to a small world, and inside there were a few families, cities and various forces. However, right now, the Super Yuan Mountain was the strongest, so the strength of the Super Yuan Mountain was definitely not weak. How are you going to find the treasure? You only have one map in your hand. Su Meiyao asked. She needed to know Chen Xiang's current plan. She did not want him to take the risk. The rest of the map fragments are in the hands of those ancient powers giant. It's not easy to get them. Bai Yuyu was the same as Su Meiyao. Right now, heading to Chaotic Mountain was extremely dangerous. Forget about the ancient powers that had gathered there, just the entire Chaotic Mountain would want to beat him up, because he had 7 Chaos Fire Token S with him. I'll go find those giants from the ancient factions. We've worked together before and we've come to this place together. If the map fragment in my hand is very important to them, I think they'll definitely work together in a strange manner. Chen Xiang knew that although the great leaders were all very strong, they were not as terrifying as that Primordius. Therefore, he was confident enough to escape into the hands of the great leaders of the ancient powers. To the sacred Dan realm, it was like a sacred mountain. Before, only a few people knew about it, but now, people in the Chaotic Mountain often wandered around, causing various legends about the Chaotic Mountain to spread, making many people yearn for it, but also fear it. For those who were weak, the Chaotic Mountain was a very mysterious and civilized place. They could only look up to it. But in the eyes of the experts, the Chaotic Mountain was merely a powerful world created by an ancient clan. In order to remove the veil on the Chaotic Mountain, many of the experts took the risk of going through a dangerous place and entering the Chaotic Mountain. On the way, he also met some people who were traveling together, and all of them were going to enter the Chaotic Mountain. It was said that there were people at the level of pill saints in the legends, and the alchemy Tao inside was extremely flurries. Hi+ing, thinking that there should be a lot of precious spirit medicines inside. Chen Xiang knew a little more than these people, and the legend was not wrong, because Dan Immortal Du Hai had stayed inside for a period of time. Is this the legendary forest? Blood Devil Forest. After Chen Xiang said through a canyon, he saw a huge red tree in front of him. The pitch-black tree trunk was thick and straight, and was about 200 feet tall. The leaves were blood-red in color. The strangest thing was that these leaves were shaped like human faces. There were a lot of these trees, extending on both sides like a wall, isolating the Chaotic Mountain from the outside world. What danger is there in this forest? It's not high, and there's no mountain, so wouldn't it be fine to just fly over? A person in the distance disapproved, and was about to jump up when he was pulled down by an old man. Brat, listen up. Legend has it that these leaves have absorbed too much blood, and have turned blood-red. Blood Devil Forest being called a dangerous place is not just because he deserves his reputation. If you want to fly over, wait for something to swallow you up. The old man's words didn't scare the young man. I don't believe that if I fly higher, what can I do? The young man glared at the old man. You're afraid of death. I'm not afraid. Initially, I thought that joining your team would allow us to get to Chaotic Mountain as soon as possible. I never thought that you guys would actually plan to stay outside of the forest for a few days to observe. This young man was extremely stubborn. Even though some of the people beside him were trying to persuade him, they were all the same. Moreover, they were all scolding him. Chen Xiang also wanted to fly over when he saw this bunch of Blood Devil Forest, but on the way here, he heard that the high altitude of the Blood Devil Forest was extremely strange. No matter how high they flew, they would be pushed down by a wave of energy. A bunch of cowards. The young man was like an arrow that had left the bow as he flew high into the sky, flying at an extremely fast speed through the air above the Blood Devil Forest. Soon, everyone could only see a dot. However, at this time, a red object suddenly shot out from the red forest and struck the young man's body. From afar, it looked like a beam of red light. After the red light disappeared, the young man also disappeared. The crowd remained silent for a long time and felt a sense of regret because the young man's strength was not bad, but he was too arrogant. Can you see what that is? Chen Xiang had just used Heaven Tour method, and just as he entered the air above Blood Devil Forest, the young man disappeared. A long tongue. Long Shui said, "This thing is very powerful, you can try it, but it's still very dangerous." Tongue? Is there such a long and huge stone? Chen Xiang suspected that Long Shui was mistaken. The world is big and full of wonders. That tongue just now should have belonged to a vicious beast. There might be many of these vicious beasts within it, so flying over from the sky would be disastrous for them. Explore the road, prepare to set off. Chen Xiang couldn't wait too long. What are you afraid of? With such a powerful thing, a shrinking step, and the fusion of spatial rule spiritual bead, you are the best at escaping. Long Shui yawned. I want to sleep now. No matter how Chen Xiang called her, she just did not respond. Chen Xiang had no choice but to do it himself. Using the Heaven Tour method, he went into the Blood Devil Forest to have a look. The inside of the Blood Devil Forest was completely different from what he had imagined. He had heard that a lot of people had died inside, but there were no corpses inside, and it looked extremely beautiful, as if they were in a maple forest. There were quite a lot of people outside Blood Devil Forest at the moment, and when they looked around they could see many tents. Chen Xiang had mentioned to them before that if they waited patiently for the forest to turn green, it would be safer. However, Chen Xiang did not know how long he would have to wait. He did not have that time right now, so he entered the Blood Devil Forest alone. This made another group of people incomparably shocked, because a youth who did not listen to the advice previously had already died inside. Upon stepping into the Blood Devil Forest, Chen Xiang immediately sensed that there was a very powerful ferocious beast hidden inside. This ferocious beast's heartbeat was erratic, causing the earth to tremble very weakly, and Chen Xiang almost did not feel it. Upon stepping into the Blood Devil Forest, Chen Xiang immediately sensed that there was a very powerful ferocious beast hidden inside. This ferocious beast's heartbeat was erratic, causing the earth to tremble very weakly, and Chen Xiang almost did not feel it. That guy should be hiding deep underground. Chen Xiang stepped on the shrinking step and nimbly shuttled through the forest. At the moment, he did not encounter any danger, but he felt that danger was slowly approaching. Down there. Chen Xiang's body trembled as he used the power of the spatial laws to allow his body to travel through space and leave his original position. After avoiding it, he turned around and saw a very large red tongue. This tongue was definitely able to roll up an elephant. His tongue was covered in blood and emitted waves of heat, as if he had just eaten someone. When the giant tongue's attack hit nothing, it immediately retreated back to the ground. Chen Xiang looked at the ground and actually did not find any hole, so how did the tongue come out? Chen Xiang suddenly sensed that there was something underground. This time, he did not travel through space, but immediately stepped on the shrinking step and teleported. At the same time he quickly summoned the green dragon demon-slain broadsword, and slashed in that direction with his blade, releasing a green circular blade chi, chopping right at the tongue that just extended out. However, this tongue was strange and hadn't been cut off. It only vibrated slightly and sent out a wave of blood mist that abruptly retracted back into the ground. Chen Xiang was startled for a moment, and then he quickly teleported away. The moment he left, 10 of these tongues shot over from all directions. If not for him escaping fast, he might have been caught in the crossfire by now. Along the way, he had been pestered by this kind of thing. If he didn't have so many tricks up his sleeve, he would have been swept away long ago. He had tried to strike at the tree trunks with his powerful strength, but not only did the tree trunks not crack, they had not even moved a single inch. He released another flame to burn those red leaves, but he still did not ignite it, causing him to wonder if he had entered into a powerful illusion world. What the hell is this? Chen Xiang relied on his ability to travel and was able to cross this kind of thing like a demon's tongue. Now he understood why this place was so clean. Now, Chen Xiang did not have much energy to concentrate on that weak heartbeat. If he thought of the tongue and that heartbeat, he would feel that there was an incomparably huge monster with countless terrifying tongues down there. There were no ferocious beasts in the Blood Devil Forest, nor were there any other beasts. Just this kind of terrifying tongue was enough to make this place dangerous. Chen Xiang spent 2 days continuously shuttling through space. It was already night, and the moment he stepped out of the Blood Devil Forest, he breathed in fresh air, and at the same time, a very dense wave of immortal energy pounced on him. Even without him absorbing, it would enter his body, showing just how dense the immortal energy was. So this is the Chaotic Mountain? Chen Xiang looked at the stars in the sky and noticed that the starlight here was even brighter than outside. This place seems to have gotten even taller. Long Shui said, If your previous heaven's sacred city was at the 18th floor, then this place would at least be the 25th floor. Chen Xiang took a deep breath. When he was passing through the Blood Devil Forest, due to the long journey, he did not realize it, but he felt that the gravity here was a little stronger. No wonder. Chen Xiang looked at the huge mountains which were enveloped in starlight, and felt a sense of shock. He had seen the most of these mountains, the biggest one he had ever seen. A cloud floated over from the distance, but it was only in the middle of these mountains. From afar, it looked like one could pick out the stars from the mountains. It's so high. Some of the mountains can't even be seen. Chen Xiang exclaimed. A gentle breeze blew past, bringing with it a tinge of killing intent. Chen Xiang's gaze turned cold. He immediately stepped onto the shrinking step and rushed forward. The instant he left, hundreds of arrows were shot over. The arrows were extremely sharp and glittered with a cold light, yet they were able to pierce through metal plates. These archers were all first-rate archers, and the quality of the bows and arrows were also extremely high-quality magical equipment. There must be at least a few hundred people hiding in this area, maybe even more. Seems like they are waiting here for people to pass through the Blood Devil Forest, waiting to ambush them. Chen Xiang was secretly furious. He had turned into a small insect and hid on the ground. Now that these people were so rude to him, he did not need to be lenient. This was a very short forest, it was very easy to hide in the dark night. Chen Xiang had already used the Heaven Tour method to find the hiding place of these people. These people had all been through years of training, so they used this kind of method to attack. These people were all dressed in black, and one of them spoke up. Did we make a mistake? There's no one there? That's not right, there must be someone. He seems to have discovered it and dodged it, but there is no trace of them. Should we send someone to look for it? No need, that person's strength must be pretty good. We don't specialize in close combat, so they'll watch carefully and lock onto us as long as someone appears. No matter who he is, we'll kill him first. This guy is so powerful, even the leaves of the demon forest are red. If he could enter, would he be able to find us? What are you afraid of? The arrowheads of our arrows are infused with chaotic force. As long as he appears, our 3,000 hidden bows will definitely shoot him out of the hornet's nest. Didn't leader say that? Other than the leader and the great clan elder, there is no one in our Super Yuan mountain that can withstand our 3,000 hidden bows. That fellow is not as strong as our leader. Oh right, I heard that Grand Elder has gone missing. Shoo! Don't talk nonsense, don't bring up this matter again. These words were extremely clear to Chen Xiang. He secretly sneered in his heart. It's fine if you provoke me, but it's still the Super Yuan mountain. Today, it's the end of your 3,000 hidden bows. If Chen Xiang stayed in the chaotic mountain for a long time, he would know how terrifying these 3,000 hidden bows were. This was a famous thing in the chaotic mountain. They would normally not be here, but they had just received an order to be responsible for guarding this entrance to the chaotic mountain. Chen Xiang released his spirit power, locking onto the hidden bows. He then took out the death-haunting arrow. He felt that the crossbow bolts released by the death-haunting arrow were much stronger than those guys. Hiding behind a rock, Chen Xiang used his divine power to lock onto over 100 hidden bows, then quietly used the death-haunting arrow to face the people he had locked onto. Although they were all well hidden and hid behind a few things, they were clearly detected by Chen Xiang using his vast divine power. Hiding behind a rock, Chen Xiang used his divine power to lock onto over 100 hidden bows, then quietly used the death-haunting arrow to face the people he had locked onto. Although they were all well hidden and hid behind a few things, they were clearly detected by Chen Xiang using his vast divine power. These 3,000 hidden bows had all used their specially trained eyes to look at every blade of GRASS and every tree outside the Blood Devil Forest. If there was even the slightest movement, they would immediately discover it, So not long after Chen Xiang walked out of the forest, he was shot with a large number of hidden arrows. You want to play dirty with me? I can be their ancestor now. Chen Xiang locked onto over 100 heads of hidden bows, poured his energy into the death-haunting arrow, and released an arrow. The black arrows shot out, immediately transforming into 100 tiny black arrows. According to Chen Xiang's will, the arrows shot towards the 100 over people, all of them aiming for their heads. Under the dark night, these black arrows could be said to be completely transparent. They were all made by Chen Xiang using his own innate qi. A hubbub of noise came from the distance. The 100 hidden bows had all been killed. After the hidden arrows had pierced through their heads, they even caused a burst of air explosions. The corner of Chen Xiang's mouth rose slightly, because the 3,000 hidden bows were all panicking at this moment. They, who were known as the number 1 assassination group in Super Yuan Mountain, had actually lost more than 100 people in an instant, and now they had actually been assassinated in reverse. Could it be that person from before? A black-clothed man had just finished speaking when a blood hole appeared on his forehead, and he died on the spot. All the black-clothed men beside him were the same. When they reached the end, the hidden arrows would explode from the inside, and all of them would die with their heads exploding. Another 300. Chen Xiang took a deep breath and started to condense an even stronger innate qi on the death-haunting arrow. You want to play with me? UBASTARDS are still too young. What's the most powerful hidden bow? Go to HELL. Chen Xiang laughed in his heart and released another arrow. After this arrow was shot, it turned into more than 1,000 arrows, and the 1,000 heads that were locked onto by his divine power were instantly exploded. More than half of the 3,000 hidden bows died in less than a moment. For the hidden bow, even if they had seen a ghost, it was still not this strange. Now, they were all panicking. Someone had already started to run away. Just as many people were planning to retreat, Chen Xiang's last arrow shot out, killing the rest of the hidden bow, leaving only one behind, but the other person's chest was also pierced by Chen Xiang's black qi arrow. Not long after, there was only one person left who could make people tremble in fear. Seeing Chen Xiang suddenly appearing in front of them, the remaining hidden bow knew that they had ambushed an incredible fellow. They blamed their leader and told them to ambush him here. He was the only one left, and from the looks of it, he was dead for sure. Kill me if you have the guts. Don't expect me to ask you anything. This dark bow was actually quite stubborn, but Chen Xiang did not plan to get anything out of him, so he used his palm to slap him on the head, releasing the soul-absorbing devil spell to look for information that he needed from this person's memories. That person was extremely terrified. He never thought that he would have such an evil technique that could directly look through the memories in his mind. The people from the chaotic mountain are not as powerful as those ancient powers. They actually haven't tampered with your minds. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do this. After Chen Xiang obtained what he wanted to know, he killed this person with a single palm and then set them ablaze. Chen Xiang gained some understanding of the chaotic mountain from that person's memories, and knew where the Super Yuan mountain was. It was still very far from here, and he also knew that the ancient powers were in the Super Yuan mountain, and they were even important guests. The city is built on top of these mountains. Chen Xiang looked at a tall mountain in the distance as he stepped on his shrinking step and ran. Under the starlight, the mountain flashed with a faint purple light. According to the person's memory, the purple light was formed because the mountain was surrounded by purple mist. The purple immortal energy was rather good, which was why a city was built at the top of this mountain. Arriving at the foot of the mountain, Chen Xiang saw a transmission array. There was even someone guarding it, and if he wanted to go to the top of the mountain as fast as possible, he could only use this transmission array. However, Chen Xiang did not use the transmission array because he needed over 100 spiritual crystal. He did not have a lot of spiritual crystal, only about 1,000, and spar were not circulating in this place. In the future, we will need spiritual crystal to go to the immortal world. I wonder if there are any reserves of spiritual crystal here? I can take advantage of this to get more. Chen Xiang knew that the spiritual crystal contained a lot of energy, and the immortal qi was much higher than the spirit qi in the spar, which would definitely help the deities in their cultivation. However, to the immortals, the spar did not have any help at all. Unless there was a lot of it, it would take a long time to absorb. This sacred Dan realm is a high-level world, and using spiritual crystal is a very normal thing. I wonder how good are the immortals here? Before this, Su Meiyao had always felt that the overall standards of the sacred Dan realm was a little lacking, but after coming to this chaotic mountain, she discovered that this was the only place that was more decent. Chen Xiang immediately flew to the top of the mountain and arrived at a platform. Because this mountain was very big, there was a lot of land on the mountain peak. Outside the city gate, there was an old man with a head full of white hair and a messy expression. He was squatting there, his body covered in filth, and he lowered his head to look at the ground. Seeing this old man, Chen Xiang was shocked. This man was Du Hai. If he was not familiar with Du Hai's aura, he would not have cared about believing that Dan Immortal would actually fall to such a state. Elder Du. Chen Xiang anxiously used his spiritual sense to send a message to Du Hai. After Du Hai heard it, he suddenly raised his head to look at Chen Xiang. His eyes were extremely bright, and did not match his current despondent look at all. Chen Xiang. Du Hai asked. Well, how are you? Yan Yao is really worried for you. Chen Xiang heaved a sigh of relief, because Du Hai was still alive. I'm fine, I'm just looking for a chance to take revenge. Du Hai knew that Chen Xiang was someone to be trusted, and during this period of time, Chen Xiang had become very famous. Kid, why have you come to this kind of place? It's dangerous here, don't you know? There are at least 5 old fellows in this city who are on par with me. Chen Xiang only came to this city to use the transmission arrays inside, and was teleported to the city closest to the Super Yuan Mountain. Chen Xiang only came to this city to use the transmission arrays inside, and was teleported to the city closest to the Super Yuan Mountain. I want to go to Super Yuan Mountain. I am not here to cause trouble. I am here to use the transmission array. Hearing that, Du Hai's eyes became round. Are you crazy? Are you really going to look for that leader? Even I am no match for that fellow. If I were to achieve a breakthrough, that would be even better. The leaders were indeed very strong, even Du Hai had said that. However, Chen Xiang believed that the Super Yuan Mountain attached great importance to that treasure, otherwise, they would not have treated the people from the ancient powers as guests. I'm not going to look for that leader. There's a group of people that went there, I want to look for that group of people. Chen Xiang also wanted to go take a look at the mysterious treasure deposit. The ancient powers had spent a lot of time and effort to come here just for the mysterious treasure deposit. When they came here, they had already said that they would find resources for the demon and devil realms. However, the demon and devil realms would definitely not be able to find them now, so when they return, there might even be a war. However, the ancient powers did not seem to care about this. Du Hai asked, Are you talking about that group of people who want to bring them to search for treasures? Chen Xiang looked at the guards at the city's gate and said, I came to Sacred Dan Realm with them. This matter, it can't be that a cloth is so long, you won't be going to the city, right? I want to use the transmission array inside to go to the Super Yuan Mountain. Du Hai knew immediately that Chen Xiang was going to go to the treasure deposit. Seeing that Chen Xiang was so familiar with the chaotic mountain, he guessed that he must have made a lot of preparations. If you see Yin Yao, tell him that I'm fine. Also, don't let her marry that Bastard's grandson. Don't worry. Chen Xiang had already planned to kill the guy who wanted to marry Du Yanyao. He felt that it wouldn't be a difficult matter as long as he didn't face that leader. It required a fee to enter the city, because there was a large formation in the city that specially gathered the purple immortal energy. Every day, it required many spiritual crystal to maintain it, so handing over the spiritual crystal in the city was a given. The immortal qi inside was extremely dense, but Chen Xiang did not stay in the city for long, and immediately rushed towards the transmission array after entering the city. The city was at the edge of the chaotic mountain, and the Super Yuan mountain was located near the center. From the memories he had gotten from the city, he knew that the Super Yuan mountain was even bigger and taller than this mountain, and the mountain they were in was equivalent to a Chen martial continent. At the top of the mountain, there were even a few huge cities. When he came to the side of the transmission array, he realized that teleporting to the Super Yuan mountain would require 100,000 spiritual crystal. This was extremely expensive for regular people, but in the eyes of the deities, it was indeed a piece of cake. I still have 10,000 top-grade spiritual crystal. I can exchange that for quite a few ordinary spiritual crystal. Chen Xiang wandered around the city for more than an hour before finally finding a place to exchange for 150,000 ordinary spiritual crystal. If he was not in a hurry, he would definitely go peddle some medicinal pellets or something like that to earn more. Stepping out of the transmission array, Chen Xiang and more than a dozen others followed. Through the transmission array, they arrived at a city on top of the 1,000 Yuan mountain. At this time, the sky had already brightened, and the sun was rising behind a towering palace. That palace was the Tai Yuan Great Hall, which was also a place the Super Yuan Mountain S had opened to the outside world. At this time, the incomparably large mountain that Chen Xiang was on was called 1,000 Yuan Mountain, and on top of the mountain was a mountain. That was the Super Yuan Mountain, and the Tai Yuan Great Hall was right below that mountain. You want to go as Chen Xiang? This can be very dangerous. Bai Yu said. This was a world of such high level as the Heaven Realm, she was very clear on the strength of the experts there. Furthermore, Chen Xiang did not have a single expert following him. Prince Imperial Dragon is also here. Long Shui suddenly said. Thinking about the Prince Imperial Dragon, Chen Xiang couldn't help but clench his fists. Back then, the Prince Imperial Dragon brought people to kill him, putting him in a dangerous situation. However, he didn't let them off the hook. Chen Xiang didn't expect them to actually come out of the immortal poisoning devil forest. However, there aren't many dragons around him anymore. There are only 4 of them. Even the Emperor Dragon Guards that followed him down have all died. Long Shui gloated while laughing. The Prince Imperial Dragon had 2 Emperor Dragon Guards, one of them had been exterminated by the White Tiger, and the other was obviously at Immortal Poisoning Devil Forest's place. Back then, Chen Xiang had angered a very powerful poisonous beast. He did not know how that poisonous beast was doing either. Leader? Is it really you? A voice suddenly came out from Chen Xiang's mind. It was Ji Meixian's voice. Chen Xiang was walking on the streets, heading towards the Supreme Ocean Palace. He had originally planned to first try and use the master-servant contracts connection to find out where Ji Meixian was from, but he didn't expect to reap his rewards so quickly. Did not know what stage Ji Meixian had grown to now, but in short, Ji Meixian's special spirit sense was extremely strong, and she was a ranker who had been reborn, so she would definitely become an even stronger existence in the future. Little maid, it's me. Chen Xiang was extremely happy, at least he could now understand the situation of the ancient powers in detail. Sai, you still came. Ji Meixian sighed lightly. Prince Imperial Dragon is here, and that guy has a very powerful black-faced big man by his side. Once that guy hears your name, he will be very excited, and say that he wanted to swallow you whole, as if he hated you to the bones. When did you offend such a powerful guy again? Chen Xiang pondered for a while, then said, I have never provoked this guy before, tell me more about this guy's situation? Ji Meixian said. He's here with the Prince Imperial Dragon. He's not someone from the Prince Imperial Dragon. Furthermore, he's on equal footing with the Super Yuan Mountain. He seems to have said that he lived in some immortal poisoning devil forest for a period of time. Chen Xiang's body suddenly trembled. He knew who the black-faced man was. It was very possible that he was the poisonous beast that he had angered before. That poisonous beast was cultivating inside the dragon's pearl of the poison dragon. Back then, Chen Xiang was chased by Prince Imperial Dragon and the others, so he split the dragon pearl in one slash and woke up the poisonous beast inside. Then, he ran far away. Previously, he had planned to reveal his ident. 1. Tai and go to the Taiyuan Palace to talk with the big shots of the ancient powers about the treasure, but now that he found out that the poisonous beast had changed to its human form and allied with the Prince Imperial Dragon, he didn't dare do it even if he were beaten to death. Chen Xiang said, I know who that guy is. The world is so small, I never thought that I would meet him here. Little maid, I found out that these traders are going to look for treasures. Tell me about it, this is the reason I'm here right now. Ji Meixian was very surprised. She did not think that Chen Xiang would actually know about this matter, because this matter was extremely confidential. Ji Meixian was very surprised. She did not think that Chen Xiang would actually know about this matter, because this matter was extremely confidential. How did you know? This matter was extremely important to the ancient powers. It was said that it was the key that allowed them to dominate Tian. Prince Imperial Dragon knows about this as well. I feel that the reason why Prince Imperial Dragon was sent down here wasn't only for you, but also because of the many things that he needs to do. For example, right now, he is also going to that place with those ancient powers. Chen Xiang felt that the situation wasn't good. With Prince Imperial Dragon here, he was very worried. Furthermore, if Prince Imperial Dragon was to go, the poisonous beast that came with him would definitely go as well. How are they doing now? Ji Meixian's position in the White Sea Imperial Land was very high. Because her strength was rising quickly, she knew a lot of things. Right now, they are all searching for the fellows of the Purple Moon Imperial Land. These big shots of the ancient powers all have a piece of stone in their hands, which they only found after entering the sacred Dan realm according to a map. Adding all of them together, there are a total of 30 big shots of the forces that have these stone pieces, which includes the Prince Imperial Dragon S and the Super Yuan Mountain S. What? Prince Imperial Dragon S and Super Yuan Mountain S can also do it? Chen Xiang was very shocked. The treasure deposit was not as simple as he had imagined it to be. He felt that there would not be some kind of resource inside, but something even more powerful. Amen, they are all waiting for the people from the Purple Moon Imperial Land. As long as the Purple Moon Imperial Land arrives, we will be able to obtain 30 pieces, and they can set off immediately. Chen Xiang did not plan to reveal his ident. 1. Tai to find those people, but planned to use his ident. 1. Tai as the Purple Moon Imperial Land, so he would immediately transform into Dongfang Lingyun. Dongfang Lingyun had not been in the Purple Moon Imperial Land for long, so even if he didn't know about some of the things that had happened in the Purple Moon Imperial Land, he could understand. Leader, I think it's best if you don't come. It's really dangerous for you. Every single powerhouse here wants to hack you into 8 pieces. Ji Meixian said. I understand. He decided not to tell Ji Meixian about the stone piece in his possession for the time being. When they arrived at the entrance of the Taiyuan Great Hall, an old man saw that he was dressed in the purple robes unique to Purple Moon Imperial Land, and immediately walked over and asked, Are you from Purple Moon Imperial Land? That's right, I am Dongfang Lingyun. Chen Xiang purposely said in a haughty tone. Dongfang Lingyun was usually like this. He had changed into Dongfang Lingyun's appearance, and had imitated his aura a lot, so he felt that Dongfang Lingyun would not be able to see through it. Long Shui had also said before that the most powerful part of this transformation was that even the Imperial Dragon race's dragons, who knew how to transform, wouldn't be able to see through it. Please come with me. The old man was extremely polite as he led Qin Xiang into the Tai Yuan Great Hall. They arrived at a hall inside, where there was a transmission array. This is the transmission array that is going to the peak of Super Yuan Mountain. The old man said one sentence and activated transmission array. In the blink of an eye, Qin Xiang had already arrived at the summit of Super Yuan Mountain. There was another towering palace in front of him, and a faint purple mist was surrounding it, as the sunlight shone through the purple mist and onto the palace, making it appear even more majestic. You must have just joined the Purple Moon Imperial Land. What about the others? The one who spoke was the elder of the Gold Sun Sacred Realm. He was currently the leader of the Gold Sun Sacred Realm. Qin Xiang recognized him, and currently many people were ing out of the hall. Qin Xiang saw the familiar faces of Ji Meixian and Prince Imperial Dragon, as well as the black-faced burly man that Ji Meixian spoke of before. The others. All dead. Qin Xiang sighed. Did you get the stone? The Jinyang leader asked. Got it. Qin Xiang did not take it out. He was worried that he would be killed by these big shots because he was a small fry. To activate the Purple Moon Imperial Land stone pieces, you need the innate chi unique to the Purple Moon Imperial Land. You just started training in it and you can already use it? The Gold Sun leader was very concerned about this, because there were only a few people who came from the Purple Moon Imperial Land, but now there was only this little piece of information. Qin Xiang's heart suddenly jumped, and then he said indifferently, All right. He then took out the purple stone piece, and poured the purple innate chi into it. The stone piece started to SHI+NE with a purple glow, which made everyone heave a sigh of relief, but they were very surprised that Dongfang Lingyun was able to do it. They knew that Dongfang Lingyun had only just entered the Purple Moon Imperial Land, and he had already grasped Purple Moon Imperial Land's Purple Moon innate chi. Qin Xiang had killed a Purple Moon at Heaven Thunder Purgatory and took out the Purple Moon's Heaven Pellet. Now, he was secretly using the Purple Moon innate chi inside the pellet. Now he understood that not only did he need the stone pieces, he also needed someone who knew how to use the appropriate innate chi. He didn't need to worry that these people would kill him and steal the Purple Moon stone pieces. How did the others die? Leader Baihai asked. He was a hunchbacked old man. The others also wanted to know why only Dongfang Lingyun was able to survive. Qin Xiang secretly looked down on them, and only now did these people remember how other people had died. After getting that piece of stone, we met a few people. These people claimed that they are from some divine devil cult, and said that they wanted to kill people like us. What? A golden light suddenly flashed, bringing with it a very dense aura of primal chaos, causing everyone to feel astonished. The person who suddenly flew out from the hall and grabbed onto Qin Xiang's lapel. Qin Xiang was extremely shocked. The man in front of him was a handsome middle-aged man with a mustache. His strength was actually so powerful, even more powerful than Primordius. He was certain that the middle-aged man was Super Yuan Mountain's leader. Where did the divine devil cult you just mentioned appear at? What do they look like? Super Yuan sect leader stared into Qin Xiang's eyes and asked loudly. It could be seen that he was extremely concerned about this matter. Dongfang Jing and her father were being besieged by people who claimed that they were from the divine devil cult. Only Dongfang Jing was able to escape, so Qin Xiang asked Yan Xilan and the other girls about the matters of the divine devil cult. That was why he was able to say it now. He wanted to see if anyone here knew about it, but he didn't expect such a big fish to burst out. Qin Xiang told the Super Yuan sect leader everything he knew. Super Yuan sect leader released Qin Xiang with a stern expression and spoke to the crowd. Do you know what a divine devil cult is? Most of the people here were great leaders from the heaven realm, and they all shook their heads. Prince Imperial Dragon frowned slightly and said, "Could it be that the guy established the sect with the fusion of the divine way and the devil way? He claimed to be the heavenly slave." Everyone had just heard from Chun Xiang that those people from the divine devil cult seemed to have specially killed those with heaven-defying inheritances. For example, those from the Tong Tian aristocratic family. Everyone had just heard from Chun Xiang that those people from the divine devil cult seemed to have specially killed those with heaven-defying inheritances. For example, those from the Tong Tian aristocratic family. Heavenly slave. It's been a long time since I've heard this name. Super Yuan sect leader closed his eyes and took a deep breath. My royal father once said that the heavenly slave was only one person, but his strength is as strong as the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord was back then. Prince Imperial Dragon's words shocked everyone. If this kind of person calls himself heavenly slave, then the reason he created this divine devil cult is to do things for the heavens? Specialize in killing those who go against the heavens? Are we all going to suffer? Super Yuan sect leader didn't doubt Chun Xiang's words in the slightest. There weren't many people who knew about the existence of divine devil cult, but since Chun Xiang was able to say it, it was likely that he had really met one. Humph? What bullsh *t heavenly slave, I'm not afraid of something that claims to be a servant. The black-faced man said. Three Horns Dragon King, what do you think about your current strength compared to Dragon Emperors? The Dragon Emperor he was talking about was naturally the father of the Dragon Emperor that was in charge of the Imperial Dragon race right now. Chun Xiang was very surprised. The guy he released from the poisonous beast dragon orb was actually also a dragon. Now he knew why this dragon was with the Prince Imperial Dragon. You mean to say, the strength of the heavenly slave is the same as the Dragon Emperor? Three Horns Dragon King asked. That's right. Everyone present were all panicking. If someone with the same strength as Dragon Emperor wanted to kill them, wouldn't that be like Cruz? Hi plus ing an ant? Only the Prince Imperial Dragon was very calm, because the only power that could resist the heavenly slave was their Imperial Dragon race. Three Horns Dragon King did not say anything. He believed that he was very strong in this group of people, but compared to Dragon Emperor, he did not dare be so arrogant, otherwise he would have killed Prince Imperial Dragon long ago. We will rest for today and start our journey tomorrow. The divine devil cult has appeared, let's move quickly. Super Yuan sect leader sent people to bring Chun Xiang to rest, and after leaving the man place, Chun Xiang secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He was not seen through. Once Chun Xiang entered the room, he immediately laid on the bed to rest. He was extremely nervous just now. Little naughty dragon, do you know of that divine devil cult? When Chun Xiang saw that the Prince Imperial Dragon knew, he felt that Long Shui should know too. I don't know. If I knew, I would have told you. I think that this divine devil cult came here from the heaven realm, and it has something to do with the Tian crack. In these hundreds of thousands of years, those great war between three realms were probably created by them. Long Shui's guess was also something that Chun Xiang had thought of. Many things had been lost, and many people had fallen. This was the reason why many civilizations had been destroyed, and when civilization was at its peak, a single war was equivalent to the destruction of the world. Then what about Three Horns Dragon King? What kind of person with strength can be called the Dragon King? Chun Xiang knew that this Three Horns Dragon King hated him to death. He definitely could not be captured by this guy. It should be an existence equivalent to an immortal king. It should be around the same strength as that heaven-thundered devil lord. Long Shui said. So you mean you are one step away from becoming a dragon emperor? Chun Xiang never thought that this guy would be so powerful. However, I am different. In the future, I will definitely become a heavenly dragon supreme lord, but first, I have to get rid of that annoying grandson. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang felt that Long Xue's parents were definitely very strong, otherwise they wouldn't have given birth to this little abnormal dragon. At dawn, Chen Xiang arrived at the main hall early. Everyone took out the stone pieces and formed a map. Chen Xiang realized that the stone pieces were all of different sizes and colors, and there were some that were circular or triangular, but when all the stone pieces were combined, they could form a complete map. From the mouth of those big shots, Chen Xiang found out that having a complete map was the first step. To get to that place, he still needed to activate the stone pieces and open the door to that place before he could finish his second step. He was representing the Purple Moon Imperial Land now, and he was also the weakest. If he reached that place after he lost all his value, would he be killed by these people? Chen Xiang knew very well what kind of these big shots of the ancient powers were. If it was treasures, it would be better to split them with one less person. After memorizing the map, everyone kept the stone pieces and started their journey. As Chen Xiang was a small child, he could only walk at the back. In the eyes of this group of people, he was merely a tool to let them find the treasures. Although it was like this, Chen Xiang knew that this group of people would definitely protect him. If he died, this group of people would not be able to think of obtaining anything from that place. The place we are going is the Chaotic Mountain? An old man asked. Yes, although we stayed in the Chaotic Mountain for a long time, we never knew where the Chaotic Mountain was. That was a huge boulder that came down from the primal chaos dimension, and we didn't know what our ancestors did in there or what powerful things they found there, which was why they hid the Chaotic Mountain, the Super Yuan sect leader said. Chen Xiang was shocked in his heart. He's actually going to find the Chaotic Mountain, he should be on that map. Super Yuan sect leader brought along 3 elders and a young man. One of the elders was his son, and that young man was the one who wanted to forcefully marry Du Yenyao, the grandson of Super Yuan sect leader. There were many youths following them, but Super Yuan sect leader's grandson was a little dishonest at the beginning, wanting to hook up with Ji Meixian and the Qin family's heavenly daughter, Qin Yao. However, after being stared at by Super Yuan sect leader, he no longer dared to act rashly. In the past, Peach Blossom Imperial Land was not a traitor, so they did not come. Furthermore, there were many traitors in the past. Everyone split up and used the Super Yuan Mountains transmission array to arrive at a forest. Chen Xiang didn't know where he was right now, but he was sure he was still in the Chaotic Mountain because the immortal energy was different from other places. This forest is very dangerous. In the end, don't fly high into the sky, or else the vicious beasts below will find out. Super Yuan sect leader knew this place very well, and to find this Chaotic Mountain, they had to pass through this forest. What's there to be afraid of? Three Horns Dragon King disdainfully said. If there are any fierce beasts, I'll eat them. The fierce beasts here are no ordinary fierce beast. We usually call them primal chaos beasts, and they are all fellows who can use the power of primal chaos. Some of them can even use fire of chaos. There are even some that can release super old poison. You should know that most of those super old poison came from the primal chaos realm. The Super Yuan sect leader said. Chen Xiang had always been extremely curious about the primal chaos realm, but no one could tell him what kind of place it was. However, he did have one of the key things that led to the primal chaos realm, and that was the 7 chaos fire tokens. Walking in this mountain forest with his enemies made Chen Xiang feel weird, and at the same time, reminded him of the long-tongued monster in Blood Devil Forest. Walking in this mountain forest with his enemies made Chen Xiang feel weird, and at the same time, reminded him of the long-tongued monster in Blood Devil Forest. Leader, we have just received news that all 3,000 of our hidden bows have died. One of the clan elders standing beside Super Yuan sect leader said in a serious tone. Super Yuan sect leader frowned and stopped. He clenched his fists and said, "Send the message back. We must find out who did it and use all the power we have." I want to know who was so bold as to kill all of our hidden bows. Chen Xiang snickered in his heart. He was extremely secretive at that time, and these people could not find out about it. Grandfather, could it be that old fellow from Du family? A young man asked. I'm not sure, but it's very possible that it's him. Not many people have that kind of strength. Furthermore, our great elder and the 2 elders have been missing for a long time. It is very possible that this is related to what happened outside Heaven's sacred city. Super Yuan sect leader snorted, and continued to lead the group on their journey. Many people could tell that this Super Yuan mountain had definitely suffered greatly. If not for the fact that they were looking for the chaotic mountain that had been missing for so many years, this Super Yuan sect leader would have personally investigate this matter. What no one knew was that the person who caused him, the Super Yuan mountain, to suffer such a huge loss was actually among them. All the big shots here had secretly greeted them, but they had already decided to kill Dongfang Lingyun. As long as they opened the door, they would immediately take action, and at that time, even Purple Moon Imperial Land would not know that it was them who did it. In order to allow this Dongfang Lingyun to safely reach that place, the crowd had to let him walk in the middle. Chen Xiang was currently thinking what kind of expression this group of old fellows would have if they knew his true identity. After a long time, Chen Xiang realized something strange. It was that some of the young people that came with him would sneakily glance at him. However, after they did, they no longer looked at him. Even Ji Meixian was the same. Chen Xiang suspected that those big shots were already secretly sending messages to these juniors, instructing them to do something. It was very possible that they were targeting him. This bunch of fellows, are they really going to destroy the bridge after crossing the river? Ennet, you better not attack me. Chen Xiang cursed in his heart. Not long after he left, these guys called out to him in secret, wanting to discuss how they would deal with him. Long Shui also saw it and said, that Super Yuan sect leader is extremely familiar with this area. He has always taken the route of intentionally avoiding some powerful beasts in the primal chaos. How about this? Let's use the Heaven Tour method. We can use the wind to find some of these beasts and lure them over. At any rate, when the time comes they will protect you. That's a good move. When the time comes, I will ask Little Maid to see what kind of order she received. Chen Xiang secretly gave Long Shui a big thumbs up, then activated his Heaven Tour method to search for the nearby beasts that were hidden in the primal chaos. He also wanted to see what those beasts looked like. There weren't many beasts in the place, so the Super Yuan sect leader led the way to bypass the places where the beasts were frequent. However, Long Shui quickly found a group of beasts in the distance and used her divine power to enrage the leader of the group of beasts. We'll be arriving soon. It's a pack of snow-white wolves. There's a very large one, and we can also use the power of chaos. Be careful later. Long Shui said somewhat excitedly. I will pay attention. They were not small in size, and as they ran, they caused the ground to shake. They were not weak either, and from the power that Chen Xiang could tell, the giant white wolves were stronger than any of the Nirvana realm beasts. What's going on? There shouldn't be any chaos vicious beasts here. Super Yuan sect leader was very confused when he saw that a pack of wolves was ing towards them. Do you want to make a move? I can kill these guys myself. Three Horns Dragon King said. He really wanted to see how powerful these beasts were. Super Yuan sect leader said, You and I will drag these fellows, and the rest quickly leave. Faster! Super Yuan sect leader bellowed and punched a white wolf that was pouncing towards him. The power of chaos flowed out from his fist and struck the white wolf's head. Woo woo! The white giant wolf howled and was sent flying into a stone mountain. It then flew out again, releasing waves of angry howls, its mouth spraying out a burst of chaotic force that turned into white light, flying straight towards Super Yuan sect leader. Super Yuan sect leader dodged aside. The strand of chaotic force drilled into the ground and exploded below. The earth trembled violently as a deep fissure appeared. Everyone's expressions changed. Although this Super Yuan sect leader was powerful, they could not kill that white wolf with a single punch. More than 10 white wolves were plussing over from behind as well. Seeing how powerful these beasts were, everyone immediately left the place. Three Horns Dragon King let out a roar and grabbed at a white wolf that was pouncing towards him, his palms suddenly turning black, turning into a dragon claw filled with black chi. The poisonous gas was deep. He originally thought that his sharp claws could pierce through the white wolf's chest, but he did not expect that he would only grab a handful of fur. Everyone had long since left, but Chen Xiang and Long Shui were still paying attention to the beast. Seeing how terrifying the attacks and defenses of the beasts were, they secretly decided that they would like to provoke more of these things. Why is he so powerful? If any one of them were to run out, the consequences would be unthinkable. Chen Xiang exclaimed. These primal chaos beasts shouldn't be able to leave this range, otherwise their power will disappear. These primal chaos beasts must have been affected by some sort of power to have the power of chaos. Long Shui observed very carefully. She discovered that there was a limit to the chaotic beasts and their energy consumption was very fast, so these beasts could use the chaotic force to make their attacks stronger and at the same time, form a very strong defense. Super Yuan sect leader and Three Horns Dragon King were also very strong. After fighting with more than 10 of these terrifying huge wolves, other than being a little S-tiered, they did not have any injuries. Furthermore, those white huge wolves were also beaten up by them from time to time. Chen Xiang swam to the side of a giant tree. Suddenly he saw a weak golden light and shouted, "I found a golden rhinoceros." "Then hurry and lure them over," Long Shui said excitedly. Chen Xiang immediately used his G-O-D power to hara this golden rhinoceros, and very quickly, it angered this fellow that was as big as a small mountain, as it angrily followed Chen Xiang's G-O-D power into charging over. "The strongest people, come out and block them. Elder Hua, bring them to a safe place, quickly." The one who spoke was Super Yuan sect leader, who was battling against the huge white wolves from afar. "The strongest people, come out and block them. Elder Hua, bring them to a safe place, quickly." The one who spoke was Super Yuan sect leader, who was battling against the huge white wolves from afar. The crowd instantly turned into chaos. Many of the powerhouses did not want to face that terrifying rhinoceros, but there was nothing they could do. The weaker members of the younger generation followed the Super Yuan Mountain Elder Hua and ran in the same direction. "Little maid, it's me." Chen Xiang suddenly transmitted his voice to Ji Meixian, causing Ji Meixian to be extremely surprised, but she did not know where Chen Xiang was. "I didn't expect that you would still come." Before, Ji Meixian did not think that Chen Xiang would come, but she did not think that he would actually follow secretly. Until now, she did not suspect that Chen Xiang had mixed into the crowd, she only believed that Chen Xiang had followed secretly. "What's your next plan? I have observed you and found out that many of the homelands seem to have secretly given you youngsters some orders." Chen Xiang asked. "It's said that there is a big door that will let us kill Dongfang Lingyun once the gate is opened. First, it's us juniors making a move. If Dongfang Lingyun attacks again, the old guys will attack him together." "All right," Ji Meixian said. "Because Dongfang Lingyun is here on behalf of the Purple Moon Imperial Land, they do not want Dongfang Lingyun to take away the things that the Purple Moon Imperial Land should have, but only Dongfang Lingyun is able to activate the stone pieces on the Purple Moon Imperial Land." Chen Xiang secretly scolded the group of fellows. Fortunately, he had been careful enough to stay out of this mess. This was just as he had guessed. These people really wanted to kill him in the end. Ji Meixian did not know that her master was Dongfang Lingyun. A fierce battle had already broken out behind them, causing the whole forest to rumble. The earthquake never stopped, the beasts roared continuously. It was all because of Chen Xiang and Chen Xiang. Amongst the 100 or so people, the strongest were probably the Prince Imperial Dragon and the few dragons beside him, followed by the Elder Hua from the Super Yuan Mountain. This made Chen Xiang's killing intent rise, and his target was the grandson of the Super Yuan sect leader, but he did not have absolute confidence. The intense battle lasted for more than an hour, before Three Horns Dragon King and the big shots of the ancient forces were the first to return. Other than Three Horns Dragon King, they were all out of breath, and after that, Super Yuan sect leader also returned, allowing them to heave a sigh of relief. These beasts are very difficult to kill, they are invulnerable to swords and spears, and their impenetrable S can only exhaust their power, allowing them to escape on their own. If the arrogant Three Horns Dragon King said that, then it could be seen how scary those beasts were. If not for these strong warriors, they would have died a long time ago. We need to leave this place as soon as possible. The beasts here are abnormal, and the path we're taking usually doesn't have any beasts. I've been here many times, but this time there are so many of them. She was worried that Chen Xiang would be found out by the Super Yuan sect leader, but in her heart she admired Chen Xiang a lot. He had actually followed them to this place in secret, and had not been discovered yet. Before, when Super Yuan sect leader thought that this road was absolutely safe, he decided to not worry about bringing these juniors over. But now, he regretted it a little. If some powerful things were to appear at the back, it would be very troublesome. He really wanted to send these juniors back immediately. But, if he went back, he might encounter even more chaos beasts. The Super Yuan sect leader and the Three Horns Dragon King should be the strongest ones here. When the Three Horns Dragon King and the Prince Imperial Dragon are together, the Prince Imperial Dragon will also have a share of the treasures here, and he will definitely take action. It seems that I need to concentrate. If I see anyone attacking me, I should use form displacement transposition to counter them. Chen Xiang felt that this was the best way, because the speed of the shadow shape transformation was very fast. If he succeeded, he could even kill one more person. Chen Xiang had also become more well-behaved. Both he and Long Shui had noticed that there were a lot of beasts in the vicinity of this place, so if they were to attract a single beast, then a large group of beasts would definitely charge in from all directions. At that time, even he would be in trouble. If this fellow did not lead the way, no matter how strong I am, it would be very difficult for me to pass through this area. This chaotic mountain is truly terrifying. Long Shui said. This was also the reason why Super Yuan sect leader did not fly in the sky. Furthermore, if one was in the air, it was very likely that they would be discovered by the beasts on the ground and be attacked from all sides. This was also the reason why Super Yuan sect leader was not flying in the air. They had been traveling quietly for more than 10 days, but they had not finished even half of the journey. They were only able to travel a little bit, and were still quite a distance away from their destination. The trees around us have changed. They're different now. Long Shui suddenly said. How is it different? Chen Xiang asked. All the trees on the way were tall and dense, and the trees here were the same. He did not see any difference. You are still too tender after all. The roots of all the trees here are very long, and the ones that enter underground are emitting a very rich essence of nature. Didn't you fuse with Tsaomu Heavenly Dan before? Feel it and take a look. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang released his D power and penetrated deep into the ground. As expected, he could clearly feel the rich wood energy slowly flowing towards a certain direction, as if something was absorbing the wood energy. Good stuff. Chen Xiang was immediately sure that there were usually some very high-grade medicinal ingredients in this kind of situation. Chen Xiang continued to use his divine power to track the direction of the essence, searching for the end of it. Found it. Chen Xiang immediately locked onto a stalk of green GRASS under a big tree. It looked like this GRAS was not anything special, but the vitality of the surrounding trees were all devoured by this GRAS at an extremely fast speed. It should be something similar to the Tsamu Heavenly Dan. Chen Xiang could see that this was not a pill that could be refined, so he immediately went forward and ran towards the tree, and everyone stared at him. Someone wanted to shout at him to follow the group obediently, but he suddenly bent down to pick a small blade of GRAS. At this moment, a shocking scene appeared. Seeing this spiritual herb, everyone's first reaction was, this was definitely not an ordinary thing. Even though the bead GRAS was running really fast, Chen Xiang chased after it, grabbed it, and stuffed it into his mouth. Seeing this, everyone cursed in their hearts. Such a good thing was actually eaten by him just like that. Many of the big heads wished that they could cut open Chen Xiang's stomach and take out the mysterious GRAS. There were also a few alchemists who followed along, and all of them were glaring at Chen Xiang. Why did you eat it? A Dan King said coldly, his old face full of anger. If I don't eat this thing soon, he will run away. This is my experience, don't you know what this is? Chen Xiang asked with a look of disdain. There were many experienced and knowledgeable old fellows here, but none of them could recognize this thing. Since Chen Xiang could catch this stalk of mysterious GRAS from so many weeds, it must be a way to differentiate them. GRAS wood spirit is another type of Tsamu Heavenly Dan. If you get it, you really need to swallow it down immediately, or else this thing will run really fast. The one who spoke was Ji Meixian. She had previously told him that Chen Xiang had eaten the Tsamu Heavenly Dan. It's actually GRAS wood spirit. It said that people who obtained Tsamu Heavenly Dan and GRAS wood spirit can obtain the approval of the earth, and can comprehend the power of the earth. What a pity! This kind of good thing was actually eaten by such a fellow. This made everyone want to hack Chen Xiang into 8 pieces and then eat his flesh. Everyone continued to rush, their killing intent towards Chen Xiang becoming more and more intense, but Chen Xiang ignored them, and continued to run as he allowed his GRAS wood spirit to fuse with the Tsamu Heavenly Dan. However, during the process of fusing, the GRAS wood spirit would release a large amount of pure immortal energy. Chen Xiang circulated his profound arts, refined all of this immortal energy, and condensed it into the heaven pellet in his 5-beast statue S. There's really a lot of immortal chi. Once I completely absorb it, I'll be one step closer to transcending the 5 nirvana tribulations. Chen Xiang was extremely surprised. Right now, his GRAS wood spirit and Tsamu Heavenly Dan had not been merged yet, so he did not know what kind of effect it would have after being merged. It made Chen Xiang want to laugh, but this group of people continued to play around for 2 or 3 days before giving up. At this moment, everyone was extremely jealous of this Dongfang Lingyun, as he was actually able to obtain such a good item, but everyone knew that this person did not have long to live. As long as they finished using it, they could kill him. There are many people nearby who are very strong. It seems they all know how to use the power of chaos. Long Shui suddenly warned. Previously, the Super Yuan sect leader had said that they had left the area where the ferocious beasts resided, but that did not mean that this place was safe. As expected, there were quite a number of people lying in ambush nearby. Seeing the black figures leap over, the experts that had been on guard all took action, unleashed plusing terrifying energies that struck at the black figures that had ambushed them. All of a sudden, all kinds of light rays flashed, and various types of energy auras howled, blowing over the huge trees and ruining the ground. It's the primal chaos berserker tribe. Super Yuan sect leader's voice was filled with surprise. He never thought that such a thing would appear here. However, Chun Xiang could see that all of these people had very long hair on their bodies, and had very dense chaotic force in their bodies. In addition, their bodies were also very bandit, and Chun Xiang saw that many of the chaotic berserkers that were attacked only flew out with no injuries. These fellows with chaotic force are too fierce, they can actually make their own bodies become so strong. Chun Xiang wanted to understand how this power of primal chaos came about. Previously, Lin Shi said that only strong people could have the power of primal chaos, and in the entire chaotic mountain, only a few could do it. There were also beasts and barbarians of primal chaos among them. He didn't know why any of these things existed in the world. At this moment, even the Prince Imperial Dragon had made their move. When the other young men saw this, they did not want to be outdone and started attacking the Chaos Barbarians. Chun Xiang did not attack. He stood there and observed carefully. The strongest attacking people were Super Yuan sect leader. He could send them flying with a single palm, and the Three Horns Dragon King was also very powerful. As long as they approached his tribe, they would all be tightly grabbed by their black dragon claws. Why can't I use the innate chi? I can't use it either. Everyone suddenly started shouting. The first to shout were all the young people, and then it was the group of old men's turn. Not good, it's the drunk G. Oh, decent, everyone hold your breath. Super Yuan sect leader was also a lot weaker. He could only send 2 or 3 primal chaos barbarians flying with a single palm strike. One of the super old poison-s. An old man shouted in fear. At this time, a black figure pounced over and smashed his head apart with a single punch. Its face was similar to that of a gorilla, and it was incredibly powerful. The old man's head was smashed by a punch, and then it was torn apart by that chaos barbarian. The scene was extremely bloody. Everyone run! Super Yuan sect leader picked up his grandson, and used his fastest speed to throw him aside, but actually ignored the rest of them. At this moment, the ancient powers experts had much of their energy drugged. They didn't have much of their power to use, but they could still use it to escape. They were all dragging a few youngsters with them. At this moment, some of the weaker ones or those unlucky ones were hit by the chaos barbarians that were flying towards them at an extremely fast speed. Those chaos barbarians could use the violent power of chaos and make a huge hole in their bodies with a single punch, then their corpses would be torn apart and eaten. Chun Xiang told Long Shui to follow the group of people, and he ran towards the direction where the primal chaos barbarians were pouncing. The magical corruption gas of the super old poison could not do anything to him, so these drunk scent were naturally useless as well. The reason why he ran towards the lair of the primal chaos barbarian was to find the source of those drunk scent. This was a good opportunity to call the super old poison. How could he let it go? Chun Xiang had already used the Heaven Tour method to observe his front and discovered that someone was burning some white flowers. Those flowers were only the size of a palm and as white as snow. They were extremely beautiful. After Chun Xiang told Bai Yuyu and the others, Bai Yuyu said with certainty, "It must be the drunk God flower." This drunk God scent was refined from the drunk God flower, as you have seen just now. Even those who are stronger would be in trouble. This belongs to the super old poison, so it is prohibited to use it. If anyone discovers it, they will definitely be hunted down. I didn't expect to be here. I really don't know how I got here. Bai Yuyu's older sister was a poison expert, so she knew about it. Although the drunk God scent was a super old poison, the process of producing it was different from the magical corruption gases. Magical corruption gas required a large amount of dead bodies, and it was only produced by chance, and the drunk God scent was produced from a type of flower. Although the drunk God scent was a super old poison, the process of producing it was different from the magical corruption gases. Magical corruption gas required a large amount of dead bodies, and it was only produced by chance, and the drunk God scent was produced from a type of flower. White drunk God flower were piled on the ground. A group of primal chaos barbarians that were relatively close to humans were burning these drunk God flower with torches. It seemed that none of them were affected by the poisonous gas. Chen Xiang quietly walked to the side of one of the piles, grabbed an unlit one, and placed it into the ring. As long as it was not burnt, the drunk God scent would not be in danger, and they were extremely beautiful. As long as there was one, he could create a lot of them. At this time, he started to follow the group, and as soon as the drunk God scent appeared, many people would die, as many people were secretly cursing the Super Yuan sect leader for running so fast. In their eyes, this group of primal chaos barbarians were much more terrifying than the previous ones. What was most unbelievable was that even the three-horns Dragon King had no way out with this poison. This poisonous dragon is too weak, even super old poison are afraid. Chen Xiang thought, at this time, everyone was still in a state of shock, as they were trying to remove the remaining poison aura in their bodies, and those youths had to wait for their seniors to finish expelling the poison, with the help of their seniors. Those with relatively weaker strength were now mostly completely poisoned, and the innate qi in their bodies could not be used. After running frantically for their lives, their bodies were completely powerless and their bodies were weak as they sat there, easily able to kill them. In order to not attract too much attention, Chen Xiang pretended to be poisoned and was trying to force the poison out of his body. However, in reality, he had obtained the Wood spirit from refining the poison, so when the audience saw that he was still able to escape alive, they all secretly rejoiced. Super Yuan sect leader, do you know the origin of these primal chaos barbarians? They actually possess such a terrifying thing like drunk God scent. If we were to be used on a large scale by them, the consequences would be unimaginable, or if it was obtained by some other vicious person, then it would be even more dangerous. I think we should eliminate them, the Prince Imperial Dragon said. Chen Xiang sneered in his heart. He felt that the current Prince Imperial Dragon and these big shots of the powerhouses would definitely want those drunk God flower, but they did not have the guts to take it now. Super Yuan sect leader shook his head. I have always come alone in the past. When I met them, I tried my best not to clash with them. It's just that this time, there are too many of us and we even fought against them, that's why they use this thing. The primal chaos barbarians are not as simple as that. They only attack the ones with the lowest status among us. The strongest ones among them are roughly the same size as us. Chen Xiang had also seen those people just now. They were indeed different from the barbarians of primal chaos. Now, everyone could tell from the expression of the Super Yuan sect leader that those people were not to be trifled with. Wait until we find those items. If we increase our strength by a lot, we can discuss further. Leader Jin Yang said. That's right. The primal chaos berserker tribe possesses such a dangerous item. We can't let them use it to commit crimes everywhere. Chen Xiang suddenly felt extremely disgusted. If that group of primal chaos barbarians had sent those drunk God flower over, this group of decent-looking fellows might have already fought over them. He had already obtained a drunk God flower, and when he had time, he would personally use the creation divine liquid to study more. This could not be done for Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu, as he was worried that he would be poisoned by these two women. He had mastered two of the more powerful super old poisons. He felt that these drunk God scent were not as powerful as the magical corruption gas, but rather they were capable of killing. If you can refine the drunk God flower into powder and sprinkle it onto people's bodies, it will spread even faster. This poisonous gas will only be produced by simply burning it. to create an incredible poison, one has to refine the best thing in it through pill forging. Bai Yu had a certain understanding of poison concocting. If it's powdered, once it's inhaled a little, the poison would become even more severe than the poisonous gas. It should be able to cause a strong person to instantly lose control of the innate qi. Bai Yu's words made Chen Xiang restless. He couldn't wait to refine a bunch of drunk G.O.D.s and use the experts here as experiments. Chen Xiang observed over these people and discovered that Prince Imperial Dragon was the fastest to recover. He seemed to have some kind of miracle medicine, and Ji Meixian was completely fine. "Little maid, are you all right?" Even so, Chen Xiang still asked with concern. Ji Meixian had once been a immortal fairy above the heaven realm, and she was so beautiful as well. In the future, she would definitely become a famous ranker once again. "It's fine, what about you? Where are you?" Ji Meixian responded as she followed the thread of thought in her mind. She did not dare to look around, as she was afraid that it might arouse suspicion. "Of course I'm fine. You have to be careful. There might be a lot of dangers along the way. Furthermore, you have to stay far away from that Prince Imperial Dragon. This guy is always staring at you," Chen Xiang said. "I have the blood of the undying bird and the golden-winged great ping in my body. The Dragon Clan's guys can easily sense it. I'll be careful of this." After confirming that everyone had recovered, they continued on their way. When they arrived, there were nearly 200 people, but now there were less than 100. They had all lost some of the stronger elders, and some of the older forces had even lost some of their juniors, causing the heavyweights to be in a bad mood. Although they had encountered extremely powerful items like the Primal Chaos Savage Tribe and the Primal Chaos Savage Beast, they were certain that the treasures hidden in the depths of the cave were extremely powerful. Back then, when they were on the road, Chen Xiang had heard from the Super Yuan sect leader that a lot of stones had fallen from the Primal Chaos realm. Many of the huge mountains were dropped from the Primal Chaos realm, but only one of them was found to be very special. Later on it turned into a mountain. Many people had investigated it and found many mysterious places within, hence this place, which had been struck by many stones from the Primal Chaos realm, was named the Chaotic Mountain. The traitor who betrayed the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord and an old patriarch of the Imperial Dragon race came together to this place. They gathered some of the East Hidden Province into the disappeared Chaotic Mountain and then formed it into a map. Chen Xiang suspected that the ancestor of the Super Yuan Mountain was also one of the traitors. The Imperial Dragon race had also helped these people to topple the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord. Super Yuan sect leader, what are the uses of those Chaos Fire token? How did you get it? The fact that the Prince Imperial Dragon did not know about the Chaos Fire token caused Chen Xiang to be extremely surprised. If he wanted the Chaos Fire token to recognize him as its master, then he had to have dragon blood. Super Yuan sect leader did not answer immediately. It was obvious that he knew a little, but he could not tell this Prince Imperial Dragon. Super Yuan sect leader did not answer immediately. It was obvious that he knew a little, but he could not tell this Prince Imperial Dragon. What is the relations Hi+P between the Chaos Fire token and the missing Chaotic Mountain? The Prince Imperial Dragon asked. The people here all knew that Chen Xiang had obtained all 7 Chaos Fire tokens many years ago. Before that, these Chaos Fire tokens had all been divided among the various big shots in the Chaotic Mountain. At this moment, everyone was very concerned about this Chaos Fire token, because it was surprisingly fast with the Chaos Fire token being gathered by Chen Xiang, and Chen Xiang was their great enemy. It had to be known that Chen Xiang had already obtained a dragon vein in Dtian. He was young, but his strength was extremely strong, similar to that of the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord back then. Since all of you have enmity with Chen Xiang, then I will tell you all this. But you must remember, you must definitely not tell Chen Xiang. Super Yuan sect leader thought about it again and decided to tell the rest. Along the way, Chen Xiang also scolded Chen Xiang when he was chatting with others while pretending to be Dongfang Lingyun, so that everyone here knew the grudge between him and Chen Xiang. As such, the Super Yuan sect leader didn't mind if he heard about it, not to mention that once he was used, it would be his death date. Chen Xiang, this little bastard, once I go to Dtian, I will definitely tear off his old nest. Originally, he had been sleeping soundly in the poison dragon's pearl. If he had absorbed the entire dragon's pearl's power, he would have been even stronger, but this had been completely destroyed by Chen Xiang. If we return successfully, his so-called dragon subduing school would be the end of it. Prince Imperial Dragon's eyes flashed. The 3 words, dragon subduing school, made him feel extremely unhappy. It was clear that he was going against him, Imperial Dragon race. Being hated so deeply by so many powerful warriors, Chen Xiang was feeling proud. Not everyone could do such a thing. The Super Yuan sect leader said. The Chaos Fire token itself was made from divine iron, moreover, it came from the mysterious primal chaos world. There were a total of 7 of them, and when the 7 enormous rainbow stones descended, the Chaos Fire token was inside those rainbow stones. At that time, the experts of the Primal Chaos clan had to spend several hundred years to obtain the Chaos Fire token from these stones. After many wars, these S have changed many masters. Chaos Fire tokens are regarded as holy objects of our Primal Chaos clan's gods. Although we cannot fuse with these Chaos Fire tokens, they can still play a role as a symbol of status. Super Yuan sect leader stopped and let out a long sigh. He stared at Prince Imperial Dragon and said, "To be honest, these 7 Chaos Fire tokens should have been given to Dragon Empress, because only with dragon blood can they integrate them. How Chen Xiang was able to fuse a Chaos Fire token, I have never been able to understand." He had previously visited the immortal poisoning devil forest once, and the poisonous dragon king died there. He might have soaked the blood of the poisonous dragon king within, which was why a trace of dragon blood was left in his body. 3 Horns Dragon King frowned. For this kid to be able to stay in immortal poisoning devil forest so easily, he must have the blood of the poisoned dragon king in his body. Prince Imperial Dragon's face became even more gloomy, because he felt that this object belonged to him in the first place. Super Yuan sect leader, then what is the use of gathering all 7 Chaos Fire token? One of them asked. According to the legends, there are 2 uses for gathering 7 Chaos Fire token. The first one is to open a passage to the Primal Chaos realm, but that requires a very powerful force. It requires strength at least at the level of 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord or Dragon Emperor. Second, I can condense a fire seed of primal chaos in my body, and cultivate a fire of chaos, but my body needs to be extremely strong, otherwise I won't be able to withstand the fire seed of primal chaos. The Super Yuan sect leader patted on Prince Imperial Dragon's shoulder and comforted him. This is yours to begin with, there will be a chance to take it back. Everyone understood Prince Imperial Dragon's feelings at this moment. No matter how they looked at it, this Chaos Fire token was tailor-made for these holy dragons. It needed dragon blood and a strong body, as well as the Dragon Emperor's strength. Long Shui scoffed, "Bulls. Hi+T, it should be my Dragon Emperor's, but I was generous and rewarded this little scoundrel." Super Yuan sect leader looked at the sky in the distance and took a deep breath. With a serious expression, he said, "Of course, Chen Xiang will probably never be able to open the pathway to the primal chaos world, nor will he be able to obtain the fire seed. He, a human, is unable to do that. What I am worried about is that he will use these 7 chaos fire tokens to summon out the 9 heaven devil palace." Chen Xiang's heart skipped a beat. The 2 uses of Chaos Fire token could be said to be within his expectations, but that 9 Heaven Devil Palace thing was something he did not expect. When Nine Heaven Devil Palace was mentioned, the expressions of many old fellows suddenly changed. Even Ji Meixian was the same. How could it be Nine Heaven Devil Palace? The Chaos Fire token is actually related to the Nine Heaven Devil Palace. The astonishment in Bai Yuyu's heart at this moment was the same as those people. Nine Heaven Devil Palace, the illusory demon palace, the place where countless powerful immortals and devils died. Because it destroyed the experts of the ninth heaven, it became famous. Su Meiao's tone carried a trace of fear. When the Nine Heaven Devil Palace appeared, senior sister and I took a glance from afar and was almost attracted by a mysterious power. It's said that those who went in that time all died. Bai Yuyu said, "It's all thanks to Ji Meixian. She was chasing and killing us at that time. If not for her sudden appearance, and brought us back to reality, I'm afraid that we would have already entered the Nine Heaven Devil Palace, and now that we think about it, she is really protecting us." An expert from the Heaven Realm said, "Rumor has it that the Yu Immortal Fairy and Old Devil Wuching all went to the Nine Heaven Devil Palace back then. They were once famous human experts, but none of them escaped, and they could not resist the enticement of the Nine Heaven Devil Palace." Prince Imperial Dragon nodded his head. "That's right. Not mentioning the human experts, many of the stronger dragons in Imperial Dragon Race have not returned because they went to Nine Heaven Devil Palace. My royal father said that this demon palace can confuse people's mind. No matter how determined you are, as long as you look from afar, you will involuntarily walk towards the demon palace and enter the demon palace. This is the cemetery of a strong cultivator. Every time Nine Heaven Devil Palace appears, countless famous experts would fall, but I heard that although this Nine Heaven Devil Palace is evil, we can still find the path of God within." Super Yuan sect leader said, "So we must kill Qin Xiang. If he can summon this Nine Heaven Devil Palace, we will be in danger. Everyone, please do not leak it out." Ji Meixian was very clear of how strong this Nine Heaven Devil Palace was, so she did not plan to tell Qin Xiang, but she knew that Qin Xiang was hiding nearby and would definitely hear it. They were worried that Qin Xiang would bring out the Nine Heaven Devil Palace. When they accidentally saw the Demon Palace again, it would be equivalent to them dying. They were worried that Qin Xiang would bring out the Nine Heaven Devil Palace. When they accidentally saw the Demon Palace again, it would be equivalent to them dying. "Little maid, did you talk about that Nine Heaven Devil Palace? How did you die in there?" Qin Xiang asked. "You better not bring out that Demon Palace." Back then, those two little girls were almost confused. I was the one who woke them up. After I chased them away, I went to Nine Heaven Devil Palace myself. Ji Meixian warned Qin Xiang very seriously. "Were you lured in?" Qin Xiang asked. "At first, I could resist the temptation, but then the voice of the Demon Palace came out and told me that my uncle was inside. He was Ruthless Devil Venerable, the master of those two little girls. I was looking for him then, so I went, and the closer I got, the more I felt my uncle was inside. After I entered the Demon Palace, I really saw his figure." As Ji Meixian said till here, he could not hide the fear in his voice. "That must be an illusion. That must be the Demon Palace trying to confuse your mind." Qin Xiang said. "That's true. This Demon Palace is a weakness that specifically seeks out your soul. At the same time, it will stimulate your body to the maximum, causing you to lose your mind and be unable to extricate yourself. If I did not have that divine robe, I would have died inside. At that time, it was my divine robe that released its power to help me escape from the Demon Palace." Ji Meixian replied, "This is a life-saving talisman that my mother left for me. I don't know how many times she saved me over the years. Of course, the Demon Palace is a terrifying place for the experts of the Heaven Realm. The strongest part isn't just that some of my friends haven't appeared since they entered. It's a place to send those strong warriors to their deaths. If Ji Meixian wasn't Qin Xiang's slave, she would have definitely warned him like an elder right now, because she knew Chun Xiang was a guy that liked to mess around. Ji Meixian sighed inwardly. She knew that once Chun Xiang found out about the use of Chaos Fire Token, he would definitely bring the Demon Palace out in the future. After 10 days of traversing the mountain ridges, the group finally reached the location indicated by the map. However, it was an extremely large lake and looked like a sea on land. It was very likely that the chaotic mountain was hiding here. If not for this map, I'm afraid we wouldn't even be here. The latter half of our route would be very safe, otherwise it wouldn't be so easy. This is a place that I didn't even dare to enter in the past, but I never thought that there would be such a hidden lake here. Super Yuan sect leader held up the lake water with both hands and then shouted anxiously, "There's poison in the lake. Don't touch it." However, it was already too late. Not only did a few old men touch it, they even licked it. Super Yuan sect leader's palms had already turned purple. He anxiously used his spirit chi to force the poison out, and the purple chi surged out. The few old men were rolling on the ground, their mouths were swelling terrifyingly. With purple-black color, the poison spread extremely quickly. More than 10 experts rushed into the old men's bodies to release the poison out. When the young men saw this, they hurriedly distanced themselves from the huge lake. The water of such a huge lake actually contained poison, but the poison wasn't very strong. Those old men had already recovered their lives. "The chaotic mountain is hiding at the bottom of the lake?" one of them asked. "It should be." The Super Yuan sect leader nodded his head. "The poison in this lake must have been deliberately carried out by someone. Take out the stone pieces." Great leaders, Chun Xiang and Prince Imperial Dragon, all placed their stone pieces on the ground and then combined them together. But this time, it was different from last time. They used the picture on the back, and after combining, they used an octagonal array. "Pour your power into these pieces of stone, activate these pieces of stone," the Super Yuan sect leader said. Chun Xiang secretly channeled the energy within the heaven pellet, allowing it to flow into his body. After that, he released it from his finger and poured it into the stone piece, causing it to emit a purple glow. The 30 pieces of stone were placed on the ground. They looked very irregular, but after everyone poured their power into them, they originally gave rise to a myriad of multicolored lights, but now they turned into a golden color. The ground trembled slightly. Everyone immediately looked towards the huge lake and saw a pitch-black mountain slowly floating up from the lake. The mountain was very big, occupying the entire lake. When it floated up, it was unknown where the lake water went. When everyone stood underneath the mountain, they felt that the mountain was like a barrier that separated the world from the world. It was so tall that they couldn't see the top, the ends of the mountain. Chun Xiang guessed that this chaotic mountain was around half the size of a Chun martial continent. When the chaotic mountain appeared, the black substance suddenly melted, and a burst of bright silver-white light appeared. A burst of ancient qi leaked out, causing people to feel like they were back to the time when chaos first began. When they thought of the seniors who hid this mountain all those years ago, they couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. This was definitely a very huge project, and Chun Xiang had already started to be wary of these people. Now, the last thing he wanted to do was to open the door to the inside. Super Yuan sect leader looked around, and after confirming that there was no danger, he brought everyone to the big door. On the mountain wall there was a very flat area. There were 30 grooves there, and they were placed into the stone pieces, so everyone was sure that it was the entrance. Did these guys really plunder the East Tibet province back then? Chun Xiang could not help but become suspicious. I don't think so. The things they looted should be used to maintain the inheritance. You'll know when you go in. Maybe those guys found something inside and couldn't take it back then, so it was temporarily sealed away here. Su Meiyao said. That's possible, because the collapse of Di Tian was caused by a very strong and mysterious force. If they had such a good item, it would definitely have been taken away by that power. That's why they hid themselves. Bai Yu said. Chen Xiang activated the Heaven Tour method, observing everyone's expressions, only to see a few youths exchanging glances with the people from other powers, obviously preparing to take action. Aren't these guys afraid of being scolded by the Purple Moon Imperial Land? Although the Purple Moon Imperial Land is currently very weak, the Purple Moon Imperial Land above the Heaven Realm is definitely not weak. But it's not strange, these guys' ancestors and ancestor had betrayed Great Yen Jing for 10 days, so it's normal for them to sell their allies now. Chen Xiang was also preparing himself. He planned to catch these people unprepared. Although he could not kill those old people, it was not a problem to kill a few little ones, who told these people to come here. They were still so dishonest. Everyone stood in front of the door and took the chance when Chen Xiang wasn't paying attention to them, to look at each other, then took out stone pieces and threw it towards the grooves on the door. At the same time, they channeled energy into the stone pieces, causing them to emit multicolored light, automatically sticking to the groove. Everyone stood in front of the door and took the chance when Chen Xiang wasn't paying attention to them, to look at each other, then took out stone pieces and threw it towards the grooves on the door. At the same time, they channeled energy into the stone pieces, causing them to emit multicolored light, automatically sticking to the groove. Chen Xiang acted as though he was working very hard. That was why he waited until everyone was finished before he threw the stone out. His forehead was covered in sweat, and he looked very tired, causing the young people to sneer in their hearts, because it was easier to succeed this way. The moment the door opened, the young people that followed them would immediately make their move. This was also what the big shots had discussed in secret, to see which power's young people were the most powerful. After the purple stone in Chen Xiang's hand flew past, it stuck onto the door, causing it to emit kacha-kacha sounds. It trembled slightly, and a crack appeared in the middle of the mountain wall. At this moment, those young people suddenly made their moves. Tong Tian aristocratic family and the heavenly maiden of the Xing domain, the grandson of the Super Yuan sect leader, as well as the Prince Imperial Dragon, all held various kinds of weapons in their hands. Little maid, retreat. In that instant, Chen Xiang sent a sound transmission to Ji Meixian and then used form displacement shadow, changing the position between him and Super Yuan sect leader's grandson. No one would have thought that by the time everyone managed to react, there were already more than 10 swords stabbing Super Yuan sect leader's precious grandson's body, and Prince Imperial Dragon's dragon claws had even dug out his heart. After the light rays from the door disappeared, the Super Yuan sect leader roared, and smashed towards the group of youths. All of the weapons were shattered, and those who had the power to attack were all severely injured, leaving only the situation in Prince Imperial Dragon a little better. Amongst these youths, only Ji Meixian, who was slightly slower, could survive. This was because when Chen Xiang had sent a sound transmission to her, she was already affected, causing the others to be much slower than her. She had thought that Chen Xiang had followed them here. Super Yuan sect leader's eyes were completely red. He wanted to kill Chen Xiang with one palm right now, but he had to save his grandson. Where is he? A big shot shouted. They did not expect Dongfang Lingyun to be so sinister, knowing this kind of method. Everyone be careful, this is my Imperial Dragon race's teleportation. He must be Chen Xiang. Prince Imperial Dragon had just been injured by the angry Super Yuan sect leader, and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. A cyan light suddenly flashed, and Chen Xiang, who was hiding in S.P.A.C., suddenly appeared. Holding an incomparably domineering green dragon demon-slaying broadsword in his hand, he used the Songlong slash of the dragon slaying 7 killing slash SMAs. Hi+ing towards Prince Imperial Dragon like a tidal wave. Sensing the danger approach him, he dodged it abruptly. However, Chen Xiang's blade stroke was extremely fast, so even though Prince Imperial Dragon dodged it, one of his arms was still chopped off by Chen Xiang. Little B, A-S-T, A-R-D. Seeing Chen Xiang appear, the three-horns Dragon King turned one of his arms into a gigantic purplish-black dragon claw and swiped towards Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang stepped on the shrinking step, dodging it like lightning. In the blink of an eye he was already inside the door. Prince Imperial Dragon looked at the ground where the three-horns Dragon King had smashed his dragon claw. His entire body was trembling in anger and the dragon blood on his severed arm was flowing non-stop. Chen Xiang, hurry and get out of here! Prince Imperial Dragon glared at the door that Chen Xiang had disappeared into. Take care of him, I will go and get Chen Xiang's head back. Super Yuan sect leader's voice was extremely cold, then he rushed towards the big door. The elders that were left behind by the big heads, those who didn't have any elders' power would be entrusted to the elders of the other powers, as they chased after Chen Xiang. Ji Meixian did not go in, she praised Chen Xiang's hand endlessly. Originally, these powers wanted to let their own juniors SHI+NE, but they did not expect that in the end, they would almost cause the grandson of Super Yuan sect leader to die from serious injuries. Prince Imperial Dragon had also lost an arm, and the juniors of other forces were heavily injured. Prince Imperial Dragon recovered quite a bit after he ate the immortal pellet, and his severed arm also quickly grew back. He was the son of Dragon Emperor, so he didn't accept any immortal pellets at all. When he was almost recovered, he ran through the door. After Chen Xiang entered the gate, he arrived at a white and huge sage. On the stone walls on both sides of the sage, there were many doors, and each door was 10 meters in front of and behind the other. He quickly arrived at the end of the sageway and discovered that it was also a door of the same size. At this time, there were already people chasing after him. When the others came in and discovered that there were so many doors, they could not help but have a headache, because they did not know that Chen Xiang had walked through that door, and furthermore, did not know that these doors were the right one. Super Yuan sect leader, what happened just now? There's no need to mention it, it's already past, now we have to stop Chen Xiang. Super Yuan sect leader clenched his fist. Furthermore, on the way here, they had been protecting Chen Xiang. They did not expect that at the last moment, they would actually be ruthlessly schemed against by Chen Xiang. They suddenly felt that they were all idiots. Especially the secrets of the Chaos Fire Token, they had all been found out by Chen Xiang, and it was the Super Yuan sect leader herself who had told Chen Xiang all of it. Chen Xiang already knows the Chaos Fire Token's secret. The Jinyang leader sighed. We just need to kill him. We can't let him leave this chaotic mountain or us, the Super Yuan sect leader said. At this point in time, everyone already understood that Chen Xiang had already killed the Purple Moon Imperial Land's men and obtained the stone piece. After that, he would pretend to be one of the Purple Moon Imperial Land's men and sneak in with them, arriving at the chaotic mountain with them. This move was indeed very ruthless. If they had not wanted to kill Chen Xiang when the door was opened, Chen Xiang might even have easily left in the end. How do we get there now? Chen Xiang is very sinister, we better not spread things out. That's right, if he still impersonates one of us, then we'll be in trouble. We will use our divine sense to confirm the secret signal. If we enter these doors and accidentally encounter each other, we will use the secret signal to confirm our identity. If we can't find the secret signal, we will immediately act. After the Super Yuan sect leader finished speaking, he sent a sound transmission to everyone and gave them a secret signal before he walked through these doors. Chen Xiang walked along a tunnel, rubbing his chin, he laughed. Secret code? I'll find a way to get it. I am a leader of the Dragon Subduing School. I must kill one or two old fellows here or else, how can I boast to Yun Xiaodao and the others in the future? Chen Xiang started running frantically in the sage, but he quickly discovered that the sage could actually move, which meant that the sage did not have a designated location, but he could not do anything right now, because there were so many doors, so he did not know which one could smoothly lead to the destination. Chun Xiang started running frantically in the Pas Sage, but he quickly discovered that the Pas Sage could actually move, which meant that the Pas Sage did not have a designated location, but he could not do anything right now, because there were so many doors, so he did not know which one could smoothly lead to the destination. During this half an hour, Chun Xiang had not run into any dangers. At this time, he had also slowed down his pace, as he walked and trained. He had to quickly refine the energy that was brought to him by the fusion of the GRA's wood spirit. He felt that his own energy was the weakest amongst this group of people. It was not enough at all. The four walls of the tunnel emitted a silver-white glow, just like the light of the chaotic mountain. Chun Xiang didn't know what the others were like, and was a little worried that the protection inside would be taken away. This chaotic mountain was already huge to begin with, so it was normal for the Pas Sageway to be very long. However, Chun Xiang took his time walking over, and after only a day of walking, he saw a door, which made him immediately rush over. After opening the door, he came to a very S.P. size stone room. There were no treasures inside, only 4 flat high stone walls. Moreover, the path he took to enter was blocked. How can there be no way out? Chun Xiang was running all over the place in this huge stone room, and no matter how he traveled, he could not leave this stone room. This huge stone room was filled with dense immortal energy, but there was no Pas Sageway. Chun Xiang never thought that the door he chose would actually be like this. He was trapped here. Next, he used the green dragon demon-slain broadsword S to perform all sorts of powerful martial arts and madly attacked the silver-white walls. Not to mention creating a hole, he couldn't even create a single mark. Could it be that I am not one of those traitor powers, and that is why I am trapped here? How long will it take? Chun Xiang panicked. He used the green dragon demon-slain broadsword to hack at the wall crazily, but to no avail. Just as Chun Xiang was about to give up, an aged voice came out. "Brat, you're pretty motivated. You're not trapped." Hearing that voice, Chun Xiang immediately became spirited and shouted, "Who are you? How do I get out? I am the spirit of this mountain. If you want to leave, you only need to work hard to increase your strength. This is because only half of the people who enter this place can survive. In other words, anyone who enters here will have to fight to the death with one person." It was actually the mountain spirit of this mountain. Chun Xiang was not surprised that this chaotic mountain could give birth to a flash spirit. "Then hurry up and let me fight a guy," Chun Xiang shouted. "No, your strength is too weak. No matter which one you meet, you have no chance of winning, unless you raise your strength to a certain level here. Then the spirit arrays here will send one person to fight. Now there's someone fighting. But you have the time formation in this place, so it will not be a problem for you to cultivate for a long time." The mountain spirit said, "Why do you have to do this? Weren't the people who built this place in the past the ancestors of the traders? That's because there was a guy who did something to it later, so as long as someone came in, they would all end up killing each other. But from the looks of it, you don't seem to be the descendant of those traders. How did you get in?" The mountain spirit said, "It's a long story." Chun Xiang sat on the ground. He could only hurry up and raise his strength to fight with this fellow and leave this Ned place. "Senior mountain spirit, you should know that I am not a bad person. Can you tell me what treasure is hidden here?" "Well, I'm not too sure either. I only know that there are 30 boxes hidden in the last place. I don't know what's in each box. In short, those things are all treasures." What he needed to do now was to raise his strength. Chun Xiang quickly refined the energy brought by the GRA's wood spirit and quickly formed the embryo of the 5th heaven pellet from every beast statue. "Can Nirvana Doom also be attracted here? If I can't, then it will be difficult for my strength to increase," Chun Xiang asked. This is because this is the chaotic mountain, and all of the robbery power absorbed the energy of primal chaos. Although this is theoretically possible, I am not too sure what the actual situation will be like. I think I will see it soon. Mountain Spirit said with a smile. The mountain spirit of this mountain did not have a body, but a powerful soul body that was attached to the chaotic mountain. Calming his heart, Chen Xiang quickly refined the power brought to him by the GRA's Wood Spirit. However, the GRA's Wood Spirit and the Tsaomu Heavenly Dan had not merged, but Chen Xiang's strength was not enough yet. Prince Imperial Dragon should be weaker than me. He is the weakest when he comes here, so you just need to approach him. That means you have to pass through the 6 Nirvana tribulations before you can have the same strength as Prince Imperial Dragon. Long Shui said. The reason why Chen Xiang was able to cut off Prince Imperial Dragon's arm before was because Prince Imperial Dragon was injured by him. Furthermore, Chen Xiang had attacked him unexpectedly, but if they were to fight face to face, he did not have that much of a chance of winning. Then what's the strength of the Prince Imperial Dragon? Chen Xiang felt that Prince Imperial Dragon's dragon power should have already said Nirvana Realm, and Long Shui himself felt that she was stronger than Prince Imperial Dragon by a little. Didn't I already say that? He's a bit weaker than me. Long Shui giggled. Are you saying that you're much stronger than me? This is the truth, all right? You can accept it. If it was me who dealt with that Prince Imperial Dragon, I would beat him down to his knees in a few hits. Chen Xiang stopped listening to Long Shui's boasting. If he listened to too much, he would get infected with this disease. He still had many Qi Shindan that he could use to increase his strength, but he did not plan to use them. The sky pill belonged to a heavenly child called Feng Zipperfound. Back then, when Feng Zipperfound and his wife chased him to the 10 heavenly sacred mountain, they were scammed by him together. The heavenly pellet contained a very pure energy. It was all the power of immortals, but Chen Xiang did not use much energy. It was already good enough for him to obtain a layer, because the energy inside the heavenly pellet was also of a certain level, and was affected by its original owner, so when he was absorbing, he lost a lot of his energy. Furthermore, he was an alchemist and had mastered heavenly alchemy. As long as he refined this heaven pellet into a pellet, he would be able to extract energy from this pellet to the best of his abilities. Taking out the Yanlong furnace would allow him to refine the heaven pellet more quickly and smoothly. Taking out the Yanlong furnace would allow him to refine the heaven pellet more quickly and smoothly. Human heaven pills were different from demon beasts. If it were demon beasts, they could also refine human heaven pills into pellets with their body and body. However, because humans were of the same type as Chen Xiang, they would produce a strong repulsion. This was the first time Chen Xiang had refined a heaven refining pill, but it was all the same. As long as he used the heavenly alchemy's method of refining all living things, he would be able to remove all the impurities in the pill, leaving behind the purest and strongest energy. Thus, after Chen Xiang refined countless mountains, he would be able to obtain a pill. When that heavenly pill was burnt, a large amount of its energy began to dissipate. That energy was either impurities or left behind a mark of the original owner's spirit. After being removed, the energy inside the pill furnace would become very pure, and after being roasted by flames, it would also improve its quality. During compression, the quality would increase. This way, even if a heavenly pill lost a massive amount of energy, it could still maintain a certain value. Refining elixirs into elixirs was also the same logic, so directly eating elixirs was a waste. This was because after refining elixirs into elixirs, the effects would be doubled or even more. I remember that after you killed those old fellows, their corpses were still hidden away. Why don't you use them to refine them? Bai Yu said. Originally, I planned to keep it for devouring, but your heavenly alchemy is even better. Chen Xiang shook his head. No need, refining those old corpses will only waste my strength. I need a lot of energy right now, the energy impurities in those corpses are too much, it's still good to use them to raise the fire. Just like that, all the corpses were burned, causing the fire to burn even more vigorously. At the same time, it could also raise the quality of the heavenly pill a little bit. This heaven pill had allowed him to refine it for an entire day, until it was the size of a grain of rice. It shouldn't be enough after eating this thing. Chen Xiang threw the small heaven pellet into his mouth, and after swallowing it, it exploded in his dantian. It was a very pure innate qi. He immediately activated his cultivation technique and used his fastest speed to refine this pellet. However, he was still far from breaking through. Every time he broke through, he would have to form 5 heavenly pellets in order to draw in Nirvana Doom, and this was not an easy feat, after refining the GRAS wood spirit and the heavenly pellet. I can only form the core embryo of 2 heavenly pellets. Chen Xiang looked at the bodies of the 5 beast statue in his dantian. Only the green dragon statue and the vermilion bird statue had the 5th pellet in their bodies. Seems like we can only eat Qi Shin Dan S. Chen Xiang took out a box of Qi Shin Dan S and grabbed it, sending it into his mouth, as if he was eating popcorn. If it was anyone else who had such a large number of Qi Shin Dan to eat, they would definitely go crazy with joy. But right now, Chen Xiang felt like she was eating poison, because the taste of the Qi Shin Dan was not very good. Even if she were to give it to Long Shui to eat, she would despise it. The taste of this Qi Shin Dan is the worst I've ever tasted. Seeing you eat it made me feel nauseous. In order to make his appetite 1. Tea better, Long Shui's fragrant little mouth was chewing on the sweet fruit flesh. Little scoundrel, when are you going to refine a high-grade ground-level pellet? Those Xian beast pellets are no longer enough for me, I want a higher-grade one. Long Shui said. Soon, when I leave this place, I will refine it for you. After Chen Xiang finished speaking, he said again. Sister Mei Yao, Sister Yu Yu, go and get me some more of these Qi Shin Dan's medicinal ingredients. I want to refine a super Qi Shin Dan, and I suddenly engraved a spirit grain on top of it. It can be used to help me absorb the immortal Qi here. I want this chaotic mountain to eat it. Last time, when Chen Xiang was refining a Qi Shin Dan, he had already secretly kept a few profoundity fruit and had Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu copy it out a little. When he finished eating the last batch of Qi Shin Dan, he let out a sigh of relief. Moreover, his abdomen was currently very hot, and streams of thick energy were constantly reloading his dantian. One had to know that there were over 1,000 Qi Shin Dan in his stomach. If it was anyone else, they would have already burst. The meridians in Chen Xiang's body were currently like countless large rivers flowing, dense innate qi circulated in his body, circulating through his meridians and bones, noris. Hi plus ing his muscles and soul, and then, entering into his dantian, entering into the mighty beast statue S, entering into a cloud of qi, and condensing the core embryo of the heaven pellet. The Qi Shin Dan not only produced innate qi, it also produced a type of mental energy, and the mental energy surged into the divine sense C, strengthening him. The larger the divine sense C, the more divine powers there was, the thicker it was, so although the Qi Shin Dan was hard to eat, it was extremely useful. If not for the fact that refining was relatively easy, this pill would definitely have been a high-grade ground-level pill. Chen Xiang planned to use the Qi Shin Dan S to specially refine for his own disciples of the Dragon Subduing School to eat. As for the so-called Big Qi Shin Dan S, he would use 10 sets of ingredients to refine 3 of them, and after going through a high degree of compression, their quality would increase by leaps and bounds. It was just that the difficulty was extremely high. Fortunately, he had a deep understanding of the Qi Shin Dan's medicinal ingredients, and as long as he burned them from the inside, it would not be difficult for him. Of course, even Li Baojun would not be able to take this job, so he had to do it himself. This brat is indeed a monster. He had snuck into a group of traders and entered the chaotic mountain. Furthermore, his strength had increased so quickly. Maybe he really could beat that little holy dragon. Also, why does this little guy's blade look so familiar? Could it be Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword-esque? Haha, there's something to see, the mountain spirit muttered to himself. At this time, Chun Xiang also did not know what kind of role the mountain spirit was, but even if he knew that the mountain spirit was not a good person, he had no choice, because he had no idea where the mountain spirit was. If only I had the complete heaven-earth killing method, I would have leveled up even faster. Chun Xiang had already sensed that the cultivation techniques he was cultivating had a certain flaw. Although they were all modified from the heaven-earth killing method, they were not complete. For example, when he was refining Qi Shindan a bit faster, he felt that the speed was very slow. If these 1,000 Qi Shindan were to be sold, they could be sold for many of their own. If they were used to eat, the increase in strength would also be quite a lot. But now, after Chun Xiang had consumed them, he had actually only formed the core embryo of half a heaven pellet. Of course, when he was cultivating, he felt that he had slept for a while. He did not know how much time had set outside, but the huge stone room that he was in had time formation, so he felt that it shouldn't take too long. I still can't do it. Cultivating the heaven pill is really difficult. Seems like I can only proceed with the Super Qi Shindan's plan. Chun Xiang sighed softly. This time, Chun Xiang was going to refine thousands of Qi Shindan at the same time and refine 1,000 medicinal ingredients into one pellet. This time, Chun Xiang was going to refine thousands of Qi Shindan at the same time and refine 1,000 medicinal ingredients into one pellet. He had a certain level of experience in refining this kind of pill. It was just that this Qi Shindan was the highest level pill that he had refined before. Luckily, he had a very thorough understanding of the ingredients used to refine the Qi Shindan, and was able to quickly and magically communicate with the spirit herbs. Right now, not only was he refining 1,000 sets of medicinal ingredients into a pill, he was also carving spirit grain on top of it, allowing the pill to have an even stronger effect. He had already tried it before, and at that time, he would crazily devour the surrounding spiritual energy at an unbelievable rate. The SPAC inside the Yanlong furnace was extremely large. There was not even a little pressure when stuffing 1,000 sets of Qi Shindan's medicinal ingredients. Chun Xiang did not use the method inside the heavenly alchemy that would turn the immortal energy into flames, because right now, he wanted to burn thousands of parts of the medicinal ingredients that were as one, and the flames which could borrow the energy of heaven and earth needed to be very strong, so at that time, it would be very difficult to control. At the moment he was only using his own flame, although it was slower, he could control it smoothly, and did not have to worry about it exploding, not to mention that when he was carving into the spirit grain, the requirements for the accuracy of his flame control was very high. At that time he would need G.O.D. power to be imprinted on the surface of the spirit pill along with the flame. Fortunately, Chun Xiang had some sort of connection with the Qi Shindan's medicinal ingredients, and was able to easily let the flames infiltrate the Profoundie fruit's body and burn away those very strong root. The Profoundie fruit inside right now were all of high quality. They were not like the abandoned medicinal herbs he refined last time, so it was much easier for him to refine them. This kid is concocting pills? What kind of pill was it? From the looks of it, it looked like a Qi Shindan, but if it was a Qi Shindan, it should have been finished long ago. These pill refiners are so bored, they should be able to cross Nirvana doom and meet with very powerful calamities. Mountain Spirit thought. He actually knew some knowledge about the Tao of pills. It seemed like he was not as simple as the Mountain Spirit. Hey, are you okay? Isn't it just the Qi Shindan? You have already been refining for 2 months. You are the weakest alchemist I have ever seen. Give up now and honestly use the immortal energy here to raise your strength. The mountain spirit could no longer hold it in and said. After Chen Xiang heard this, he was a little surprised. Senior mountain spirit, you've been here for a long time, you must be bored. How about we make a bet? Chen Xiang knew that this kind of old fellow liked to pretend to be deep and knew a lot of things, but he just didn't want to tell you how powerful he was, so it was hard to make them speak without using any trick. I don't believe you. Although I am trapped here all day, I still have some understanding of the outside world. Aren't you refining a batch of qi shindan? Isn't it just that they use more medicinal herbs? The fact that you didn't explode means that you are skilled, but you are still far from relying on this pill to achieve a breakthrough. The mountain spirit said disdainfully. Old senior, I'm asking you, do you dare to gamble or not? If you don't dare, then forget it. Chen Xiang laughed. His laughter carried a trace of contempt. Bullsh *T. Do you think I wouldn't dare to bet? However, if you lose, you can stay here with me for 100 years and just talk to me. Mountain Spirit was not afraid at all. Chen Xiang only wanted to satisfy his curiosity. He wanted to dig something out from Mountain Spirit's mouth. Moreover, he was very confident in himself. He was very confident in this super Qi Shindan. Right now, the Qi Shindan was already at the final stage of refinement. 1,000 sets of medicinal ingredients were melted and compressed into a small cyclone. Although it was only the size of a fist, the quality was frightening. If it exploded right now, it could destroy an entire city. If he did not imprint the spirit grain, Chen Xiang could already begin to condense the pellet. And right now they needed to enter the state of a half-condensed pill. This was so that when this cyclone neared Pill City, in that short period of time, the spirit grain would be carved into this pill. The spirit grain Chen Xiang had chosen was a type of spirit grain that specialized in converting immortal energy into spirit energy. This was originally a formation array, and was usually used for people who could not directly absorb immortal energy. But right now, Chen Xiang needed him to complete it, and even arrange it inside a small pill. He had an extremely powerful divine force, so it wasn't too difficult for him. At this moment, the Super Qi Shindan was like a ball of paste as it revolved inside the pill furnace. Chen Xiang permeated his divine power into the pellet and viewed the inside and outside of the pellet as a very large SPAC. This way, because the pellet was too small, it would not be unable to be carved into the spirit grain. This was because when he was refining some very small things, such as storage rings, he would need to engrave a large number of profound and complex spirit grain and use this method to solve them. Chen Xiang condensed the God power into visible golden threads. Inside the God power, there was a dense dragon power as the base of the spirit grain, carefully plotting the inside of the pellet. As the flames continued to burn, the spirit grain and the pellet became one. Using the energy of the pellet as the base of the formation, the spirit grain's power was activated. It took him more than a month to engrave the spirit grain, so if it wasn't such a supreme Dan, he would rarely engrave the spirit grain, which would waste a lot of time. Right now, the Qi Shindan was like a green paste, slowly revolving inside the furnace. Chen Xiang's mind moved, releasing God power to compress it. At the same time, he slowly withdrew the flame, letting the pellet solidify. At the same time, he did not affect the spirit grain inside. In the last step, he did it very carefully. It wasn't easy to condense a pill either. He used 2 days to slowly condense the mass of energy into a finger-sized pill. I'm finally done. Chen Xiang took a deep breath. His head drenched with sweat and he was extremely tired. It's not like there are none that can refine a lot of medicinal ingredients together, but it's not as bad as you, right? You've been refining for so long, boy, you should just admit defeat. Mountain Spirit chuckled. Chen Xiang opened the lid of the pill furnace, and a burst of cyan light flashed out. This kind of covering the gigantic stone room caused the silver light in the stone room to become extremely dim. The Qi Shindan slowly floated up, and on the surface of this pellet, many exquisite golden spirit grain could clearly be seen flash. Hi+ing. This pellet looked like a cyan gem inlaid with golden silk patterns. Not to mention its effects, just looking at it made people feel that it was inconceivable. The mountain spirit saw some clues. Because the spirit grain were not simple, although they were densely packed, they were not chaotic at all. When these spirit grain gathered together on the pellet, it gave people a feeling that the pellet had a kind of indescribable spirituality. This pellet looked like a cyan gem inlaid with golden silk patterns. Not to mention its effects, just looking at it made people feel that it was inconceivable. The mountain spirit saw some clues. Because the spirit grain were not simple, although they were densely packed, they were not chaotic at all. When these spirit grain gathered together on the pellet, it gave people a feeling that the pellet had a kind of indescribable spirituality. Old Senior, you must not go back on your promise at that time. If I am able to survive under the Nirvana doom, you must keep your promise. Chen Xiang swallowed the super Qi Shin Dan. The Qi Shin Dan entered his abdomen and immediately melted away. His body was wrapped in cyan-colored clouds of light, and there were many golden spirit grains on top of the cyan-colored light barrier. At the same time the Qi Shin Dan's medicinal power was cut apart. Chen Xiang was in a place that was like a huge whirlpool in the ocean, while the surrounding dense immortal energy was like seawater, crazily surging towards him and entering his body. At the moment, the energy that his meridians could contain had already reached their limit, so he needed to compress the energy that was exploding in his body. Originally it was in a gaseous state, but after it was compressed by him into a liquid state, after it was compressed again, it would become viscous, but at this time, the energy that was being absorbed from the Qi Shin Dan was too much. He continued to compress it, and it turned into a type of golden energy that flowed into his dantian, forming the shape of a heavenly pellet. The density of energy in this chaotic mountain far exceeded Chen Xiang's expectations. The Super Qi Shin Dan was also like this, extremely powerful. Previously, he thought that relying on this pill would give him a 70% chance of breaking through, but now it was 100%. This kid, what exactly did he do? This pill is too fierce, and his body is like a bottomless pit. The energy that he consumes is terrifying. This boy's potential is great, it seems he will lose this time. The mountain spirit started muttering to himself. Chen Xiang only used 10 days to finish forming the core embryo for the 4th pellet. As long as the 5th pellet was formed, he would be able to immediately attract the Nirvana doom. After crossing the Nirvana doom, 5 pellets would be enough. This place is truly a cultivation treasure. The energy in this chaotic mountain is much more than my dragon vein, and the quality is also much higher. Unless my dragon veins can produce purple immortal qi, it won't be able to match up to this place. Chen Xiang could not help but exclaim. At this moment, his divine sense C was also surging with surging waves, because a large amount of God power was constantly flowing into his divine sense C, opening up his own divine sense C. When he finally calmed down, Chen Xiang's 5th heaven pellet had already been condensed and his nirvana doom was about to arrive anytime. Right now, he could only wait quietly. So cold, is this an ice tribulation? Chen Xiang's Hi plus varied violently. His physique could still be frozen to such a state. Only those Godda Ned Nirvana Doom had this kind of power. That's right, it's an ice tribulation. Chen Xiang was certain of this, but a beam of cold energy shot towards him, striking his body. In just a split second, it was as if countless cold needles pierced his body. Ice quickly spread inside his body, making him unable to move. Ice attribute chaotic force. Chen Xiang felt the strong power of primal chaos and immediately let the heaven fire soul in his body explode with strong flames to warm his body and expel the icy cold power. If his body was completely sealed in ice, then he wouldn't be able to be saved at all, even if he had Yulong blood S. Chen Xiang had heard of ice calamity that had only one goal, and that was to freeze you, then turn your body into a pile of shattered ice. Even though it looked like a very gentle nirvana doom, it was still very frightening. Don't even think of making me suffer twice. Chen Xiang's fist was like a flash of lightning, releasing golden flames, striking towards a white light that was aimed towards him, instantly dispersing the ice energy that was condensed inside. At first, it was only a beam of light, but in the end there were many, but Chen Xiang was able to handle them all. With his fist and the boiling power in his body, he scattered all the cold energy that suddenly attacked him. The further one went, the more powerful the robbery power became. Right now there were already dozens of strong cold rays of ice shooting over. Chen Xiang could only circulate the vigorous Xuanwu innate qi and form a water Hi plus ELD to block these terrifying cold attacks. Even though the profound cover hood was powerful, it was still unable to withstand the cold energy. In an instant it was frozen into a thick layer of ice, and then it shattered into pieces. If the water didn't work, Chen Xiang would use fire. A pair of gigantic fire wings suddenly appeared on his back, and wrapped around his body. So. The biting cold power of the ice attack made a sound that made people feel cold. When it hit the Suzaku fire wing, the cold chi entered the fire wings, releasing waves of white mist. The vermilion bird flame was originally burning with flames, but when dozens of ice beams struck it at the same time, it gradually extinguished. Chen Xiang immediately activated his innate qi, allowing the Suzaku fire wing to burn once again. The robbery power became stronger again, and attacked hundreds of times in one breath. Now, Chen Xiang couldn't use his fist to disperse the robbery power like before. He could only stand at his original spot and defend. Every time they attacked, they would extinguish Chen Xiang's golden wings. However, Chen Xiang was always able to burn his wings again in an instant to withstand the terrifying power of the cold. Seems like the final strength of the robbery power will be 10 times greater than it is right now. Chen Xiang quickly swallowed a 5 elements profound Dan and recovered his lost innate qi. Nirvana Doom were already extremely terrifying. If Chen Xiang did not have a very solid foundation, he would have been dead already. The simultaneous attack of hundreds of cold rays of light had been going on for more than 2 hours, and it was getting more and more intense. He's here. The thing that Chen Xiang was most worried about had finally happened. The walls of the huge stone room started to flicker with a white light, and then shot out a white guanxia, all of them aimed at him, thousands of them. Chen Xiang immediately activated his genuine qi of universe, transforming into his strongest dragon power, forming a powerful barrier of light that completely surrounded himself. The strong white light covered Chen Xiang. The icy cold power caused layer upon layer of frost to form on this huge stone room. In the blink of an eye, thousands of rays of light that carried an intense cold aura shot over. A gigantic block of ice appeared at Chen Xiang's location, and from the looks of it, even Chen Xiang had been completely frozen. Boom! Chen Xiang's body shook, the dragon power roared out, and shattered the huge ice on the outside of his body. Following that, thousands of cold qi attacking him, he roared, and the dragon power on his body turned into countless wild dragons, Hi plus ing towards the incoming cold qi. The cold qi formed from the robbery power clashed with the wild dragons formed from the dragon power, and instantly, dragon roars and explosions sounded out, causing the gigantic stone room to tremble slightly. The Nirvana Doom Chen Xiang was currently facing. It was already beyond what a normal person could face, because he himself was an alchemist. In addition, the technique he trained in was quite heaven-defying. He was only at the Nirvana realm. There were so many heavenly cores in his body. It would be strange if his Nirvana Doom wasn't powerful. Even the mountain spirit was shocked when he saw this. The Nirvana Doom Chen Xiang was currently facing. It was already beyond what a normal person could face, because he himself was an alchemist. In addition, the technique he trained in was quite heaven-defying. He was only at the Nirvana realm. There were so many heavenly cores in his body. It would be strange if his Nirvana doom wasn't powerful. Even the mountain spirit was shocked when he saw this. The robbery power seemed to be endless, and it was getting stronger and stronger. Now it had increased to tens of thousands of attacks in an instant. However, the energy that Chen Xiang released this time was not the least bit weak. He was not just defending. At the same time, he also retaliated against the robbery power. Some of the robbery power had yet to approach his body. It was smashed into pieces by him using the supreme dragon power. The innate qi in Chen Xiang's body was terrifyingly thick. After all, they had already formed a heavenly pill. Not just a lot. And the quality was very high. If he survived the 5 Nirvana tribulations, facing the 7 or 8 Nirvana tribulations, he did not care anymore. If it was those demons, he used the devil-suppressing holy power. He could easily insta-kill them. This was also why the demons were strongly against him possessing a weapon like the green dragon demon-slain broadsword. Especially those traitors. This was because the traitors were worried that they would have evil intentions in the future. When he faced the green dragon demon-slain broadsword, would be harvested by Chen Xiang like a blade of grass. The last wave of robbery power attacks ended. Chen Xiang straightened his back. Stand there. Cold air was emanating from his body. He did not use any external items. He would have successfully said through the Nirvana doom. Power of giving. Come on. Chen Xiang clenched his fists tightly. He vented the excitement in his heart. As long as the 5th batch of heavenly pills was successfully formed, he had already stepped into the Nirvana tribulation. He would have to keep his word. Go and release the super old fire beast beneath the Yuming deep abyss. The mysterious power of giving descended. It poured into Chen Xiang's body. This kind of power seemed to be specialized in helping living beings resist the heavens and the earth. After every breakthrough, they all bestowed power upon the living. It allowed the creatures to become even more powerful. After absorbing the power of giving, 10 days had passed. Every beast statue in Chen Xiang's dantian. Each had an extra heavenly pill. There were now a total of 25 pills. I've broken through. Senior Mountain Spirit. You better not hide. Chen Xiang laughed. He then asked, when will I meet the opponent who is waiting for me? I just broke through. I can't wait. Don't be complacent. Your own potential is indeed quite good. However, you are far from being able to face that little holy dragon. The mountain spirit said. He had already told Chen Xiang clearly. His opponent was the Prince Imperial Dragon. The people who entered this place, only half of them could go to the place where the treasure was kept. Therefore, they had arranged for people to come in and fight to the death. Ask what you want. I can only say that I know. Or what I can say. The mountain spirit said. I want to know what is going on in the chaotic mountain. Who was the guy who arranged for us to have a life and death duel? Chen Xiang felt that this person's skills were very familiar to him. It's a dragon. That's all I can say. Mountain Spirit's answer made Chen Xiang sink into deep thought. In the past, 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord had 2 friends. One was a dragon. One was a flame lion. The hiding place of the green dragon demon-slain broadsword was arranged by these 2 friends. And that flame lion was the super old fire beast that Chen Xiang met in the Yuming deep abyss. And the super old fire beast said. He was trapped there by the dragon. Chen Xiang felt that everything was arranged here. It should be that dragon. But he didn't know if the dragon was good or bad. Because the dragon had trapped the super old fire beast. So he had doubts. Was it because the super old fire beast was not a good thing? That was why he was trapped by the dragon. He had an agreement with the super old fire beast. As long as he possessed the strength of the 5 Nirvana tribulations, then he would have to help the super old fire beast escape. That dragon is very powerful. You can make a way to the center of the earth. Furthermore, at that time, Tion still hadn't broken apart yet. The earth's core was extremely powerful. Senior Mountain Spirit. Are you even a mountain spirit of this mountain? Chen Xiang asked again. This mountain came from the Chaos World. He wanted to know some things regarding the Chaos World. It can be said to be true. It can also be said that it isn't. The mountain spirit sighed. I was originally a mountain spirit of another mountain. But I did come from the Chaos World. And that mountain could also be considered a chaotic mountain. Only the mountain had been destroyed. That guy wants to give me a place to stay. That's why I'm here. It's that dragon. This sacred Dan realm only appeared when Tion was about to collapse. At that time, this was the place where traders came to hide their treasures. That dragon might have brought the mountain spirit here before this. I came early. At that time, the group of traders had yet to find the mountain. When they tie things up here, I'll tell the dragon. Let him do something here. They were going to use it to swindle the descendants of those traders. I just didn't expect a weirdo like you to sneak in. The mountain spirit said, so you better not die. Senior, how does the Chaos World look like? Chen Xiang clenched his fist. He was excited, because it was a very mysterious world. Mountains that fall from there are so terrible. How should I put it? It was a very chaotic world. There was no order. It's not as harmonious as these worlds. And here, the primal Chaos Clan. It was from there. The people of the Chaos World had come to punish them. I just dropped down a lot of huge mountains. Back then, he had killed many powerful experts. And there was also the Chaos Fire Token, as well as a palace specially designed for harming people. Cough cough. I said too much. A palace for harming people. Chen Xiang immediately thought of the Nine Heaven Devil Palace. It was actually the work of someone from the Chaos World. Chen Xiang found it hard to believe the vision of that world that many strong warriors had. He actually made such a thing to harm others. Chen Xiang was suspicious at the moment. The death of 10 Heavens Supreme Lord all those years ago. The split with Tion. Perhaps it was the people of the Chaos World who were behind this. The White Tiger had also said so. That power was very powerful. Enough. I've said enough. Rest first. After that, he released his strongest power. If it was successful, you will meet that little holy dragon very soon. The mountain spirit said. Chen Xiang took a few deep breaths. Don't let your imagination run wild. Because the more he thought about it, the more it seemed to him. The more uneasy he became. This was because after he felt that he was strong, it was very likely that he would face the mysterious power of the primal chaos world. And those traitors might once again get the support of the forces behind the scenes. Innate chi-s from the 25 heaven pellets suddenly surged out. Like a dragon's roar, it sprayed out from Chen Xiang's body, shocking the entire stone room. It was also at this time. White light exploded in the stone room. Following that, he saw the Prince Imperial Dragon. His battle with the Prince Imperial Dragon. It was finally here. Pride of the world, prideful of the world, proud of the earth, 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 proud of all. Pride of the world, prideful of the world, proud of the earth, 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 proud of all. Prince Imperial Dragon was dressed in a golden dragon robe, sitting on a golden stone bed. He closed his eyes, absorbing the immortal energy, as if he knew that he would meet Chen Xiang. I didn't expect it to be you. Prince Imperial Dragon stood up, put away the golden stone bed, and slowly walked towards Chen Xiang. Are you disappointed? Chen Xiang circulated the energy in his body and entered a state of combat. I am indeed a little disappointed. I originally thought that taking back the green dragon demon-slain broadsword would be a little difficult. I like challenges, but now... Do you find me too weak? Chen Xiang was not angry and smiled faintly. Moreover, what you have in hand can make many strong people work for you. Before, I was afraid of him because of the two people beside you, but now there's only you, and there's no way those two people can come to save you. Don't forget, I have killed leader before, and I have also killed dragons. I am also leader's leader, so you should have investigated all the experts that died at my hands, right? Chen Xiang only reminded this Prince Imperial Dragon not to underestimate him. That's right, in the eyes of many people, although you are young, your strength is superior to many experts of the Heaven Realm. However, I do know that you used the Chaos Fire Token's protective divine light. I am very clear on the protective divine light that the Chaos Fire Token emitted when she accepted you as master. When Prince Imperial Dragon talked about this matter, his eyes were filled with jealousy and hatred, because he knew that after the Chaos Fire Token recognizes a master, he cannot snatch it away. That is to say, as long as Chen Xiang dies, this treasure will also go with him. Do you know much about Chaos Fire Tokenness? But I remember that you pretended not to know in front of that Super Yuan sect leader, hehe. Chen Xiang laughed. Can't you see that I am very calm now? Prince Imperial Dragon nodded his head. You are currently very calm, but I believe that you are just forcing yourself to be calm or putting on an act. In my eyes, today is the day you die. Chen Xiang sighed lightly. No matter what, I have cultivated the heaven-earth killing method, shouldn't you be worried? The Prince Imperial Dragon slowly said. What you have is only the ground killing, that tablet doesn't have all of the heaven-earth killing method, I know about that, so I don't have to be afraid of anything. You also cultivate the 9-turn dragon G-O-D mantra, the 72 changes arts, the heavenly dragon seal. Some of my imperial dragon race's sacred arts. You must have already embarked on the path of cultivation, I am clear of that. But you are a human after all, and are unable to unleash the power of these sacred arts, so I have nothing to worry about. I know you very well, but you know nothing about me. I admire you for being so calm. Chen Xiang smiled. This Prince Imperial Dragon actually said that she understood him a lot? He did not know much about the Prince Imperial Dragon, but this Prince Imperial Dragon only knew about him on the surface. If he truly understood him, the Prince Imperial Dragon would not waste his breath on him, and would use the strongest method to kill him. To be honest, if I had given you another 100 years, I wouldn't have dared to stand in front of you so casually. The Prince Imperial Dragon did not want to underestimate Chen Xiang, because the fact that Chen Xiang could create such a big matter was already enough, but he felt that no matter what he thought, Chen Xiang would definitely die in his hands today. This was because he was extremely confident in his own strength. I want to ask you something. Please tell me the truth. Chen Xiang was silent for a moment before he asked. I will try my best to satisfy a person who is on the verge of death. Even though I hate you very much right now, you are a dying person after all. I have always been very respectful towards those who are about to die. Prince Imperial Dragon said very generously. I want to know what your father, Dragon Emperor, will do after I kill you? Will it destroy SPAC and directly head towards Dtian to take my life? This was actually the thing that Chen Xiang wanted to know the most, and also the thing that he was a little worried about. The Prince Imperial Dragon frowned slightly. Chen Xiang's tone was filled with confidence. It did not seem like he was putting on an act at all. It was as if he was completely confident that he could kill him here, which made him unable to help himself from taking a look at Chen Xiang's strength. However, he quickly felt that Chen Xiang was just blindly trying to be arrogant, and that this would usually give him a lot of confidence. I don't know, because I won't die. I've never thought about this. From the moment my royal father gave birth to me, he believed that I could coexist with the great Tao of heaven and earth. He also had never considered this matter, so I can't answer you. And your question will never have an answer because I am immortal. Prince Imperial Dragon's eyes revealed killing intent. From the moment Chen Xiang saw him, Prince Imperial Dragon had displayed his strong murderous intent. Chen Xiang rubbed his fist and smiled. Looks like if I want to know the answer, I can only kill you. I am a person with a strong desire to learn, so in order to get an answer, His Highness the Crown Prince has to suffer a little. It would be best if you commit suicide, but since I am the one who wants to know the answer, I won't bother you any longer. I only wanted to kill you in exchange for an answer. A dignified Prince Imperial Dragon's life is only worth an answer. Prince Imperial Dragon was instantly enraged. The Prince Imperial Dragon was angered by Chen Xiang's arrogant words and clenched his fists tightly. His face was cold, a killing light shot out from his eyes. The power of the Holy Dragon was strong and vast. It created a wave in his body along with a monstrous killing intent gus. Plussing out from every part of his body. Immediately, a dragon roar came out from all directions, floating in the middle of the huge stone chamber. But Prince Imperial Dragon did not care about this, because he felt that he had the power to suppress Chen Xiang and kill him. A human dares to be so savage. A golden light flashed in the Prince Imperial Dragon's palm, and a golden dragon sword appeared. From the looks of it, it was a holy level dragon weapon, but from a glance, Chen Xiang immediately slashed with his sword, bringing along the extremely powerful the power of the Holy Dragon, as well as the dense immortal qi in the stone room. As though driven by his sword, they all turned into blade-like astral winds, accompanying the sword as it attacked towards Chen Xiang. Seeing the powerful sword come at him, Chen Xiang did not take out the green dragon demon-slain broadsword but instead brandished his fist and directly used the back of his hand to clash with the sword blade. Ding! The fierce collision caused the golden dragon sword to let out a crisp dragon's roar. A wave of explosive power struck the four walls, causing the entire stone room to shake. Mysterious G.O.D. Mysterious G.O.D. Holy Dragon Sword is said to be refined from the skeleton of a powerful holy dragon. It's a top-grade holy-level dragon artifact. It's close to a divine artifact. Long Shui said. Prince Imperial Dragon was forced back a few steps by Chen Xiang's punch. He could not help but be shocked in his heart. Chen Xiang had actually used his fist to block his furious sword strike. Chen Xiang's fist, which was wrapped around the slaughtered God's hand, was comparable to a divine tool in existence. It was extremely firm, and at the same time it also possessed a very powerful strength. Following the jump of the mysterious killing G.O.D. heart on his chest, the overflowing killing intent inside it turned into a terrifying killing intent, causing the two fists to become even more terrifying. This sudden killing intent caused Prince Imperial Dragon's face to change, because he had seen this kind of killing intent before. He had seen many strong experts, but only his father had this kind of terrifying killing intent, and this killing intent seemed to have Serpa. As said his father. Chen Xiang took a step forward, traversed the SPAC, and suddenly arrived in front of Prince Imperial Dragon. A pair of killing fists with the power to kill and look down at the entire world came out like a bolt of lightning, instantly transforming into hundreds of fist shadows, enveloping Prince Imperial Dragon. The power of the punches carried a overflowing killing intent, and ruthlessly struck Prince Imperial Dragon's body. Chen Xiang could clearly feel that his fist, in that instant, had all landed on Prince Imperial Dragon's body. Waves after waves of power surged out from his fist, causing him to feel extremely carefree. In that instant, Prince Imperial Dragon also felt a scorching pain drilling into his body. He let out a stuffy groan, and his body instantly overflowed with a large amount of golden dragon scales. No wonder. The power of the Holy Dragon erupted from the dragon claw, making it seem even more berserk and powerful. Adding to that speed, Chen Xiang was unable to dodge and was struck on the shoulder, causing his arm to be in pain. The dragon claw even left a few deep claw marks on the thick arm. If I'm not wrong, you should have the White Tiger divine weapon. As long as he killed Chen Xiang, he would be able to obtain the Green Dragon Demon Slain broadsword and White Tiger divine weapon. This would further stabilize his future position as emperor. Chen Xiang saw the fanaticism in his eyes and shook his injured shoulder. You can't get it. At this point in time, he had already realized that the Prince Imperial Dragon's defense was extremely strong and his speed was extremely fast. That claw just now was so fast that he was unable to dodge it. Now he understood why the mountain spirit said that there was a huge difference in strength between him and the Prince Imperial Dragon. The Prince Imperial Dragon did not have Nirvana Doom in the first place, and had extremely superior natural cultivation conditions, so even if he slept, he could raise his strength. The gluttonous female dragon in the ring was the same. This guy is unable to transform into his original body because the SPAC here is limited. This is also a chance for you to defeat him. If he doesn't transform into his original body, then his strength won't be the strongest. Long Shui whispered to Chen Xiang. And at this time, Chen Xiang's chest had an additional scratch. The speed of this Prince Imperial Dragon's attack was shockingly fast. It was extremely urgent for him to kill Chen Xiang and obtain his Green Dragon Demon Slain broadsword and White Tiger divine weapon. The Holy Dragon sword and the sharp dragon claws continued to attack. The attack was extremely powerful, as though they wanted to crush Chen Xiang into pieces. The sword and the claw combined, with their extremely fast speed, the Prince Imperial Dragon had the upper hand, while Chen Xiang was forced to continuously retreat. It's just a mortal body, nothing more than that. Every time Prince Imperial Dragon saw the claw marks on Chen Xiang's body, he would feel extremely proud and feel even more disdainful. Do you think you're qualified to shout and kill me? I am a dragon, and you are a human. Chen Xiang's body trembled. The gold light suddenly flashed out. Just as he was retreating, he suddenly welcomed the Prince Imperial Dragon's berserk attack. The green light in his hands flickered, and the Green Dragon Demon Slain broadsword appeared. Prince Imperial Dragon only felt that this time his Holy Dragon sword and dragon claw had come into contact with an extremely STURDY object, and when he saw the cyan light flash by, he immediately panicked. He never thought that Chen Xiang, who was about to be suppressed to the point where he couldn't even raise his head, would suddenly have such a counterattack, and when he realized that this cyan light was from a Green Dragon Demon Slain broadsword that had previously chopped off one of his arms, it was already too late. What a powerful kid! Green Dragon Demon Slain broadsword, profound wood diamond armor, and White Tiger divine weapon are all on him. When Little Saint Dragon was in high spirits, he caught Little Saint Dragon by surprise and cut off one of his dragon claws. Mountain Spirit secretly praised in his heart. Boom! Prince Imperial Dragon's arm had just fallen to the ground, when a huge palm came plusing down, bringing about a strong pressure and crushed that arm into pieces. At the same time, it raised a wave of air, making Prince Imperial Dragon retreat a few steps. The killing heart on his chest jumped about crazily, as a diagram of a flowing river appeared behind him. After the boundless ocean waves charged towards him, it surged like a river, swallowing the mountains and rivers, turning into a wave of energy that rushed into his body, causing his strength to increase by several fold. Just as he was about to dodge, a great void star seal appeared, and the star formed from its energy fell down with a crackling sound. This was one of the celestial slain method, combined with Chen Xiang's killing heart. The heaven-earth killing method was even more brutal, as if it was an ancient era where the stars were wreaking havoc on the earth. The moment the great void star seal was released, Chen Xiang's Green Dragon Demon Slain broadsword rushed over in an urgent manner. It brought along an incomparably berserk pressure that shook the entire stone room, making it seem as if it was about to crack. Bang! Another loud sound, which covered up the Prince Imperial Dragon's dragon cry. Chen Xiang could feel that the Prince Imperial Dragon's vitality was still very strong, the brutal attacks did not stop, and his body emerged with the devil-suppressing holy power. The holy devil-suppressing seal's secret subduing strength, merged into the green dragon demon-slain broadsword, was accompanied by the power of the myriad mountains and seas. Swiss. H. Plus when the blade came out, cracks appeared in the S.P. A.C. of the stone room. When the blade landed on Prince Imperial Dragon's body, it caused the Prince Imperial Dragon to let out a dragon's roar that pierced through the heavens. Half of Prince Imperial Dragon's shoulder was split off by Chen Xiang, and was dripping with blood, gradually transforming into his original form. In order to prevent the Prince Imperial Dragon from immediately reconnecting his arms, Chen Xiang smashed another great void star seal down, turning it into minced meat. Chen Xiang, who had an overflowing killing aura, now released all the power in his body, and every attack was incomparably brutal. I am a leader of the Dragon Subduing School, and am here specifically to lower the dragon. You are just a stepping stone for me. Don't underestimate me, a dragon-subduing leader. Chen Xiang stabbed his sword into the Prince Imperial Dragon's dragon scales. The sharpness of green dragon demon-slain broadsword S was not something those dragon scales could stop. Prideful God 10933 Prideful God from 1. Prideful God 10933 Prideful God from 1. This was the profound wood diamond armor that his father, Dragon Emperor, had always talked about, the divine armor that even the green dragon demon-slain broadsword could not shake. This was also why he was unable to cause any damage to his body earlier, and why Chen Xiang had purposely let him attack first so that he could relax and then, when he was unprepared, make a ruthless counterattack. When Chen Xiang fought with Huang Jintian before, it was because Huang Jintian's strength was much stronger than his, and as a weak person, if he wanted to defeat the strong, he couldn't just rely on brute force. He had to conserve his strength and allow his strength to attack the enemy as much as possible. The profound wood diamond armor was indestructible. If Chen Xiang had released it right from the start, he would have been on guard against it long ago. He would not be so relaxed because he still knew too little about Chen Xiang. Prince Imperial Dragon, who had lost both of his arms, only wanted to turn into his original body right now, so that his power could explode out. Otherwise, he would have been sliced into pieces by Chen Xiang's sharp divine blade, and right now, he already had an unprecedented fear of death. He, who had always thought that he would not die, finally knew how unbearable this fear was. Prince Imperial Dragon's body flashed with a golden light. Chen Xiang knew that he was going to turn into his original body. I will wait for your father, Dragon Emperor, to come find me. If he comes looking for me, I will kill him just the same. Chen Xiang chopped horizontally with his blade, cleanly cutting off Prince Imperial Dragon's head, and at the same time hacking down vertically, splitting Prince Imperial Dragon's body apart from the center. This little Shring Long is dead? Mountain Spirit looked at Chen Xiang's calm face. He couldn't believe that after killing a holy dragon, he was still so calm. Chen Xiang withdrew his green dragon demon-slain broadsword and consumed a handful of medicinal pellets. From the moment he launched his counterattack, his strength had been unleashed at his peak condition, which caused a huge loss. Chen Xiang. Prince Imperial Dragon's head that was rolling on the ground on the side uttered a sound. He was actually still alive. Chen Xiang walked over, placed a palm on the head, and used soul-absorbing devil spell to search through his memories. Soul-absorbing devil spell, you actually. Don't even think about knowing my secret. Prince Imperial Dragon used an unknown secret technique to suddenly erase all of his memories. He knew that he was dead for sure, but he did not let Chen Xiang know of his memories. That's enough. Chen Xiang smiled, because he already knew that this was the signal that they would use to make their decision when they entered. Prince Imperial Dragon's death caused the Imperial Dragon race's Dragon Emperor to immediately notice it. The sound of the dragon's roar shook the 9 heavens, and the Dragon Emperor's killing intent enveloped the heavens, causing them to feel extremely fearful. Chen Xiang stuffed all of Prince Imperial Dragon's corpse into the Yanlong furnace as fast as he could. This kind of precious thing, without using the heavenly alchemy to refine the pellet, Chen Xiang would feel that it was unfair for him. Oya, there's another good pill to eat. Although I feel that eating my own kind is a bit strange, but if the taste is good, I won't mind. Long Shui said excitedly. Ha, this guy is still using the twin dragon pearls. Little scoundrel, make 2 pellets, you and I can also obtain the divine dragon bloodline after eating one, and the dragon power is also the power of the holy dragon. What about me? As for the combination of the white dragon and the holy dragon, it will be even more powerful. I am definitely going to be the heavenly dragon supreme lord. Chen Xiang was also excited in his heart. He said, Little naughty dragon, you must quickly grow up. At that time, the difficult task of annihilating that dragon emperor will be handed over to you, the chief great elder of the dragon subduing school. Hurry up and refine the pills. This Prince Imperial Dragon is really kind. Isn't it better to just stay in the dragon nest of the Imperial Dragon race? You actually gave us the ingredients needed to concoct pills. We must thank him. Long Shui was overjoyed, and Chen Xiang's strength had also exceeded her expectations. Using some simple method, he quickly sent the Prince Imperial Dragon into the pill furnace. Chen Xiang despised this heartless, gluttonous dragon very much, to the point of not even letting his own Imperial Dragon race's holy dragon go. Kid, what are you doing? When Mountain Spirit saw Chen Xiang pick up Prince Imperial Dragon's body like he was picking up mushrooms, and put it into the pill furnace, a flame started up. It looked like he was cooking a pot of dragon meat soup. At the very least, he had to take out some of the things inside, such as dragon pearls. But now, Chen Xiang wanted even his head. I'm concocting pills. Chen Xiang said. What? You are courting death. Refining this kind of unique beast that was raised by the heavens and earth into a pill is a huge taboo in the alchemist. Do you want to survive the next time you receive a nirvana doom? Mountain Spirit shouted in shock. Really? This is the first time I have met such a dragon of good quality. I am an alchemist. If I don't refine this holy dragon, how would I be able to face the ancestors? Chen Xiang wasn't afraid of any nirvana doom, nor could he go through any troubles with Long Shui's stomach. He was the same as this greedy female dragon. This kind of thing, being able to refine a pill, was definitely a huge supplement. D.A.M. And if I eat a pill made from this stuff, what would I do if I miss it in the future? Long Shui muttered to himself. Then pray for more dragons to come after me. Chen Xiang laughed. Seeing Chen Xiang's smiling face, the mountain spirit thought that he had met a madman. This fellow was comparable to the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord from before, and was specialized in this kind of heaven-defying thing, and he was extremely proud of it. Senior Mountain Spirit, when will there be a way out? Chen Xiang asked. Soon, when all of you are half dead, the tunnel will open, and then you can go to that place where the treasures are hidden. But I will tell you first, there will definitely be a dispute, and in their eyes, you are a peerless enemy. Chen Xiang laughed. Senior, don't worry about me, I already have a way to deal with it. Chen Xiang heard the secret signal given by the Super Yuan sect leader. If he ate the pellet refined by the little holy dragon, then he would still be able to own the power of the holy dragon, and at that time, he would be able to impersonate the Prince Imperial Dragon without being seen through. He felt that the mountain spirit should be extremely worried about those guys, because he would not even know what would happen if he died. Outside the chaotic mountain, the mournful and furious dragon roar echoed throughout the entire sacred Dan realm. This was the dragon cry released by the Imperial Dragon race. Outside the chaotic mountain, there were many people from the ancient powers. After hearing the dragon roar, some of the old people said in shock, "Prince Imperial Dragon is dead, Dragon Emperor is furious this. Why is he dead? Could it be Chen Xiang?" It was actually Chen Xiang who did it. Now Chen Xiang's dragon subduing school is completely done for. Not necessarily. It's not good for Tian right now, moreover the sacred Dan realm is very stable. No matter how strong the Dragon Emperor is, it's impossible for him to break through the power of this law. It's already not bad that he could transmit his voice over. She had to admire the little disaster that Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu had cultivated, who managed to kill a holy dragon just like that. She felt that Chen Xiang would really be able to shake the two super strong forces in Heaven Realm and Imperial Feather Race in the future. The news of Prince Imperial Dragon's death swept through the entire Heaven Realm like waves, and the people of Sacred Dan Realm knew about it very quickly. Only the people in Chaotic Mountain did not know about it. The news of Prince Imperial Dragon's death swept through the entire Heaven Realm like waves, and the people of Sacred Dan Realm knew about it very quickly. Only the people in Chaotic Mountain did not know about it. However, no one knew that the little holy dragon, who was the focus of all attention and had the potential to become a dragon emperor, was currently in Chen Xiang's Yanlong furnace, with a little white dragon waiting anxiously for that little holy dragon pellet by his side. This kid really did it. I just didn't expect him to kill little Saint Dragon so quickly. It wasn't really a surprise for Huang Jintian, Wu Kaming and the others when they heard the news in the Heaven Sacred City. It wasn't the first or second time Chen Xiang had done something like this. Suddenly, the earth violently shook. Not good, Imperial Dragon Race's Dragon Emperor is going to break through the S.P.A.C. Huang Jintian's face changed. Chen Xiang was still in Sacred Dan Realm. If he came here, as long as they caught him, Chen Xiang would be in trouble. Inside the Zilan Mountain Valley, Yan Xilan, Du Yenyao and Yunzhu were listening to Dongfang Jing narrating the shocking things that he had done to Tian. Now that the Prince Imperial Dragon had died, they were extremely worried. Since the Prince Imperial Dragon is dead, the grandson won't be able to escape either. Yenyao, you don't have to worry about getting married again. Yunzhu laughed. But Chen Xiang will definitely anger the Super Yuan Mountain. Du Yenyao really wanted to know the situation Chen Xiang was in right now. Within the boundless star domain, the White Tiger felt that the entire star domain was trembling. Bai Xing, who was beside him, also discovered something, and the entire starry sky was filled with an angry killing intent. White Tiger and Bai Xing did not find any clues about the starry sky White Tiger race in the star domain and were returning at this moment. Old ancestor, what's going on? Bai Xing asked. Chen Xiang is in trouble again. From the looks of the aura, it seems like the Imperial Dragon race is angry. I have to hurry back, if not the brat is done for. The White Tiger looked helpless. Right now, many people wanted to know where Chen Xiang was and what he was doing. However, many of them guessed that he was probably running away or something. Of course, Chen Xiang was currently refining the just-killed little holy dragon into a pill. He was not even the least bit worried. He was still planning to kill all of them later. The Prince Imperial Dragon's dragon body was extremely tough, so Chen Xiang had to use the heavenly alchemy to borrow the fire. He sucked in the immortal energy around him, turned it into an intense flame, and quickly burned the dragon's body. He had previously refined an unreal ghost eagle before, and he had the experience of refining beasts into pills. Although the unreal ghost eagle was much weaker than the little holy dragon, the methods were similar, only that the firepower used was different. 2 dragon pearls. No wonder this little holy dragon thought that he would become a dragon emperor. In Imperial Dragon Race, twin dragon pearls are indeed rarely seen. But in the end, he still entered my stomach. Long Shui laughed tenderly. This little holy dragon isn't very strong, so the dragon pearls should be easy to refine. The hardest parts should be the flesh. How about we strip off the dragon scales? The dragon's body is huge, and it would take a lot of time to pull it out. Plus, I can't use the dragon scales, they'll only kill people if I sell them. Who would dare to use an artifact made from the body of a small holy dragon? Chen Xiang still decided to melt the dragon bone or something like that. Boom! The entire sacred Dan realm rumbled once again, accompanied by the furious roar of a dragon. It made people feel as if there was a gigantic dragon desperately reloading the sacred Dan realm. The Dragon Emperor is coming. Originally, many people thought that this SPAC was very stable and that it was not easy for the Heaven Realm to come over, but now, the power of the Dragon Emperor made it difficult for everyone to remain calm. They were very worried that after the Dragon Emperor arrived, they would not be able to find Chen Xiang and start a massacre. Inside the chaotic mountain, Chen Xiang also felt his body tremble, but it wasn't as intense as the ones outside. However, the mountain spirit knew that he was worried about affecting Chen Xiang's refining, so he did not tell Chen Xiang that the Dragon Emperor's the power of the Holy Dragon was already here and could arrive here at any time. If he could absorb the energy from the Dragon Pearl as per normal, it would take a very long time, but if he refined it into a pill, it would be very fast. Moreover, Chen Xiang was still refining the Holy Dragon's flesh and bones into Dragon Pearls. Refining the little Saint Dragon pellet was much faster than refining the Super Qi Shindan before, because it only needed to melt and then squeeze the refined energy together. In the end, the condensing of the pellet would be completed, and because the heavenly alchemy was suitable for refining this kind of thing, it would be much easier. Chen Xiang was currently splitting it into two. If he wanted to compress it into one, he felt that it would be difficult, since the power of this holy dragon was extremely huge and he could not take it for himself. He wanted to give Long Shui a taste. In a few days, Chen Xiang was done. The huge stone room suddenly released multicolored light. The mountain spirit told him that he was free to leave. Chen Xiang was a little regretful. He had originally planned to eat that small divine dragon pill, but the moment Long Shui took it from him, he placed it in his mouth. Don't worry, let me release the power of the holy dragon. I can refine it faster than you. Long Shui laughed. Turn into that guy's appearance. Chen Xiang felt that after passing down the power of the holy dragon to him, he could finally relax and take on the appearance of a prince imperial dragon. Everyone who entered the chaotic mountain were teleported to a stone room. Adding Chen Xiang, there were only 10 people left. When he entered, he was around 30. In a duel, there should still be 15 left. Someone has fought 2 rounds, that was arranged on purpose. Mountain Spirit told Chen Xiang that it was because Chen Xiang was not a traitor and Chen Xiang was extremely talented, that was why he was able to communicate with Chen Xiang. The other 9 people looked at each other. They all knew that the other party must have gone through a duel, but they didn't know who had killed who. Of course, they wouldn't say it themselves. Seeing that the Super Yuan sect leader was still alive, Chen Xiang guessed that the Super Yuan sect leader probably killed that 3-horns Dragon King. Only that guy had that kind of strength which helped him get rid of this scourge. The other people were all heavyweights of the Xing domain and Tong Tian aristocratic family. Although it looked like they were forming an alliance, they could turn hostile at any time during a life-and-death situation. Thus, they were all forced to duel like Chen Xiang previously, only surviving after killing one of them. Super Yuan sect leader was extremely cautious at the moment. He was currently sending a sound transmission to everyone, confirming their ident. 1. Ties with a code to prevent Chen Xiang from sneaking in. This was because he did not dare believe that Chen Xiang had died. 1 month later, Super Yuan sect leader sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. 1 month later, Super Yuan sect leader sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. Gather in the main hall of Super Yuan Mountain. Chen Xiang immediately went forward, causing the Super Yuan sect leader to heave a sigh of relief. He believed that the person with the same strength as Chen Xiang should be the Prince Imperial Dragon, and if Chen Xiang was killed by the Prince Imperial Dragon, then there was a high chance that all of Chen Xiang's things would be obtained by him. I believe everyone must have suffered a lot on the way here. Since the other comrades are unable to escape this predicament, we can only mourn in silence for them. We still have to continue exploring the chaotic mountain. Let's go. Super Yuan sect leader walked in front and headed towards the stone room's door. Everyone understood in their hearts that if they spread the news that they had killed the leaders of other forces, they would be in trouble. However, Super Yuan sect leader had said just now that those people died because they were unable to escape their predicament. Leaving the stone room, everyone walked along a dark corridor. They were all silent, but they really wanted to ask the other party, who had killed who, especially that Chen Xiang, whom everyone felt that Chen Xiang must have also fought with someone else. Although some people suspected that it was the Prince Imperial Dragon who killed them, they were not sure. Half of the Prince Imperial Dragon was already dead, and the other half of it had been eaten by Long Shui. Chen Xiang was actually very relaxed, because the Super Yuan sect leader was not on his guard against him. In this place, the Super Yuan sect leader was the strongest, and now that he was being guarded against by the big shots from the traitors, they were afraid that the Super Yuan sect leader would want to take all the treasures for himself and kill them all, because if they were in his place, they would do the same. Although this Super Yuan sect leader looked more righteous, everyone knew that he wasn't a good person. Otherwise, when he was dominating the sacred Dan realm, he wouldn't have killed so many people. Everyone had their own little thoughts, and Chen Xiang was no exception. He wanted to take sole possession of the last few treasures, but killing these guys was extremely difficult. Even using magical corruption gas wouldn't be possible. In front of them was the end of the Paas Sage, and everyone was a little nervous because they were about to see the treasure, and they were worried that they would be killed by the Super Yuan sect leader, because they had done this kind of thing before, but they did not expect that they would meet it themselves. If it was before, their side of the traitor forces might not be afraid, but they only had 8 people left, and facing the powerful Super Yuan sect leader, they had no chance of winning. Prince Imperial Dragon, I don't think you want to share the final results with those guys. Super Yuan sect leader suddenly transmitted to Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang's heart skipped a beat, and he anxiously replied, Super Yuan sect leader, what do you mean by that? Super Yuan sect leader said, I'll kill those few guys and divide the remaining items. It is said that there are 30 boxes, and I will give you 8 of them. You just have to keep it a secret. Chen Xiang scolded this guy in his heart. He only gave 8 of them. Divide evenly, 15 apiece. Of course Chen Xiang had to bargain. The Super Yuan sect leader did not dare to touch him, because he was currently the Prince Imperial Dragon and he was worried about angering the Dragon Emperor. U10. You need to know that I have to bear a lot of risks and you have the Imperial Dragon race supporting you from behind. Super Yuan sect leader said, each of you take a step back. All right. Chen Xiang promised first, without the 8 fellows, then he would think of a way to get rid of this Super Yuan sect leader. Although this was not possible, but at least he had 10 boxes in the end, just that he did not know what was inside those boxes. Super Yuan sect leader pushed open the door and told Chen Xiang, let's take a look at the items inside the boxes. If they aren't valuable, then I won't take action. Was also curious about the items inside the boxes. Back then, those people had spent a lot of effort to hide here, so there must be something inside, but Mountain Spirit had previously said that there was a dragon that had mixed in before. Chen Xiang felt that even if there was something good, it would definitely have been taken away by that dragon. After passing through the door, everyone arrived at a lavishly decorated hall. On the floor of the hall there were 3 boxes. There were only 4 of them, causing everyone to feel a wave of fear. However, they all saw traces of other boxes being placed on the ground. Super Yuan sect leader did not immediately open the box. Instead, he turned around and looked at the 8 ancient powerhouses. Super Yuan sect leader, what are you doing? A big shot asked coldly. There are only 4 boxes here. Super Yuan sect leader clenched his fists tightly. That's right. We should open it and see what's inside. We should discuss how to divide it. He was afraid that he would be killed by the Super Yuan sect leader, so even if there were only 4 items, he did not plan to split them among the group to prevent them from losing their lives. Chen Xiang had already activated his Chaos Divine Eye to try and see what was inside the chests, but he was still unable to do so. At this time, he noticed that there was a door in one of the areas in the hall, and it should be the exit. Super Yuan sect leader, if they don't get what they want, go back and tell them about the powers in the heaven realm. At that time, they will definitely think of a way to cause trouble for you. Maybe they will even frame you, saying that you killed other people, so let's split these 4 boxes evenly. I will not spread this. Chen Xiang transmitted to the Super Yuan sect leader. Super Yuan sect leader had thought about it before, and he had to get the things he wanted. If he did not give the items to the 8 great leaders, he would be in trouble if they went out and blabbered on in the future. The strength of the traders in Heaven Realm was still very strong. Humph! The Super Yuan sect leader steeled his heart and slapped his huge palm towards the 8 big shots. The dense power of primal chaos caused the entire chaotic mountain to tremble. Super Yuan sect leader, you! One of the elders cried out in shock. As soon as he came into contact with the powerful chaotic force, he immediately turned into dust. The other 7 were on their guard and immediately threw out a large amount of immortal equipment to block this ferocious attack. The 7 traders were also very powerful. They actually managed to receive the Super Yuan sect leader's palm attack, and at the same time, quickly retreated. Super Yuan sect leader's palms gathered power as they slapped at the 7 people wildly. The shadows of his palms overflowed into the sky, bringing with it the power of primal chaos as they smashed against the 7 people, causing them to scream miserably. Chen Xiang watched from the side, and just as the Super Yuan sect leader attacked again, he hurried over to the side of the boxes and quickly stored them into the ring. This move was discovered by the Super Yuan sect leader, but Chen Xiang was extremely fast, so there was only a box left. He did not care about attacking the 7 people. He just threw a palm at Chen Xiang. Even if it was something that the Prince Imperial Dragon tried to take advantage of, he would still make a move. Chen Xiang dodged hurriedly. Stepping on the shrinking step, he rushed towards the door. Super Yuan sect leader came to the side of the box. He kept the box and attacked Chen Xiang frantically, but Chen Xiang had already used the power of the spatial laws, and quickly said through the door. Prince Imperial Dragon, you despicable and shameless fellow, don't blame me for being merciless. Prince Imperial Dragon, you despicable and shameless fellow, don't blame me for being merciless. Looking at the 7 injured great leaders on the ground, he struck them with his palm, turning them into meat paste, then ran towards the door, chasing after Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang was running frantically in the sage. This was still the chaotic mountain. Other than feeling the door, it was hard for the mountain to penetrate into the human body. If he did not play with it, he would not be able to obtain 3 boxes at all. Originally, he planned to take all 3 of them, but the Super Yuan sect leader was very cunning. He had a hand up to guard him. What made him laugh was that the Super Yuan sect leader did not manage to identify him, but Chen Xiang felt that it would be good if he continued to doubt him. Super Yuan sect leader was very angry. He had to kill this cunning Prince Imperial Dragon, because he had already fallen out with him, and had just tried to kill him, so when Prince Imperial Dragon went out, he would definitely expose the truth, and at that time, those traitors would come looking for him, so he would die even faster. Killing Prince Imperial Dragon was indeed very risky, and that was only after Dragon Emperor found out about it. He felt that Dragon Emperor wouldn't know that he was the one who did it. Can you open those boxes? Chen Xiang gave the chest to Su Meiyao and the others. No way, Long Shui said. It seems like you need something to open it, but there shouldn't be any formation inside. You can split it with the green dragon demon slaying broadsword. Alright, I'll tell you when I'm safe. Chen Xiang's speed was not slow either, using the shrinking step to coordinate with the spatial travel. He increased the distance between him and the Super Yuan sect leader in the Pa-S Sage. Half an hour later, in the dark tunnel, Chen Xiang saw a door in front of him. He immediately Pa-S, said through S-P-A-C, only to see a strong light appearing as he left the Chaotic Mountain. Outside of Chaotic Mountain were the elders and a few young men. When they saw that someone had come out from the mountains, they were shocked that it was the Prince Imperial Dragon, because they believed that the Prince Imperial Dragon was already dead. Just as Chen Xiang came out, that Super Yuan sect leader also quickly followed. Furthermore, he gave him a palm, and a mountain-sized palm appeared, directly SMA's. HI+ing towards him with extreme speed. Everyone was even more shocked. The Super Yuan sect leader was actually trying to kill the Prince Imperial Dragon. Little maid, run. This Super Yuan sect leader will definitely kill all of you. Chen Xiang anxiously transmitted to Ji Meixian. When the Super Yuan sect leader saw the news of Chen Xiang, he immediately looked at the group of people. His attack on the Prince Imperial Dragon had already been seen by the people, and the only people who could come out of there alive were himself and the Prince Imperial Dragon. Now that the Prince Imperial Dragon had disappeared, if these people spread word of it, it would be difficult for him to avoid all kinds of suspicions. Ji Meixian quickly realized something and immediately hid into the forest, then quickly left the place where the group of people were gathered at. Not long after Ji Meixian left, a giant handprint that was condensed from the power of primal chaos suddenly came across. HI+ing down, blasting all of them to death. Chen Xiang appeared by Ji Meixian's side, grabbed her, and placed her inside the ring. After that, he used up most of his energy and traveled through S-P-A-C, distancing himself from the Super Yuan sect leader. What happened? Ji Meixian was overwhelmed with shock. If she had been even a little bit slower, she would have very likely been severely injured. All dead. Chen Xiang explained everything that had happened. He was already very far away, but he could still feel the power of the Super Yuan sect leader's random attacks. You! Ji Meixian was extremely speechless. Chen Xiang was just too daring, but this move was indeed beautiful. As long as you go back alive, it'll be fine to tell others that this guy killed the Prince Imperial Dragon and told them everything that happened to me. As for my matters, I won't mention them at all, because at that time, no one will believe the words of the Super Yuan sect leader. Chen Xiang was indeed a little worried that the Dragon Emperor would come to find him, but right now, he could clearly sense the terrifying power of the Dragon Emperor. A dragon's roar shook the horizon. Super Yuan sect leader immediately recognized that it was Dragon Emperor's roar. His heart was filled with shock. He immediately thought that just now, he had already killed Prince Imperial Dragon. That was why he angered Dragon Emperor. The reason why he was so ruthless just now, and even killed his own Super Yuan Mountain, was to prevent this matter from being leaked out. Now, no one saw him doing it with their own eyes and would definitely not suspect him. Chen Xiang was still inside the Chaotic Mountain, sprinting frantically all the way. He still had to avoid the Primal Chaos Beasts and the Primal Chaos Barbarians. He used the transformation techniques and turned himself into a bird beast, making the journey much safer. The Sacred Dan realm being hit by the Dragon Emperor's attacks all day also made him frightened. No one saw that I was the one who killed the Prince Imperial Dragon. If the White Tiger can return, maybe I can get Ji Meixian to help clear my suspicions. Chen Xiang could feel the anger of the Dragon Emperor at this moment. After more than 10 days of trekking, Chen Xiang had finally reached the city beside the Chaotic Mountain. He remembered that Du Hai was right here. Little maid, Dragon Emperor is a supreme expert who cultivates the divine way. You should know that he might be able to search your mind for what you are seeing. I'm worried that he will see through you. Chen Xiang said. Don't worry about that. The divine clothing on me is very powerful and can protect you and me from any flaws. I can seal some memories, but I can do it myself. Ji Meixian came out from the ring, and right at this moment, a group of people wanted to leave Chaotic Mountain. Because Prince Imperial Dragon died here, they were worried that if Dragon Emperor got angry, they would destroy everything in this place. Ji Meixian would follow this group of people to teleport across the Blood Devil Forest, and Chen Xiang would look for Du Hai. Previously, Ji Meixian had said that everyone would have the promise of 10 years. When the time came, they would gather at the altar and open the altar to return to Di Tian. Du Hai understood Sacred Dan Realm the best, so he could only go find him. Elder Du, Chen Xiang whispered to a slovenly old man at the entrance of the city. Little B, A-S-T, A-R-D, you've stirred up a disaster. Du Hai was very sure that the Prince Imperial Dragon was chopped off by Chen Xiang. Don't worry, Dragon Emperor won't think that I did it. Chen Xiang sent a sound transmission to Du Hai. Hurry up and take me to a safe place. What wouldn't think you did it? The entire Sacred Dan realm knows that it was you who did it. What Du Hai said was true, because Chen Xiang was the only one who could have such a possibility. Chen Xiang didn't want to talk much with him, so she urged him to bring her to a safer place. Of course Du Hai was helping him, and Chen Xiang had even told him that Super Yuan sect leader's son was already dead. This made him more happy, because Du Yenyao would not be forced to such an extent. Of course, Chen Xiang would not tell him that, if Ji Meixian's plan succeeded, it would be the time when the Super Yuan Mountains clan would be annihilated. Du Hai knew that the Chaotic Mountain was not safe, and anxiously brought Chen Xiang to Pa-S.S through the Blood Devil Forest, heading in a desolate direction. Du Hai knew that the Chaotic Mountain was not safe and anxiously brought Chen Xiang to Pa-S through the Blood Devil Forest, heading in a desolate direction. On this barren land, Chen Xiang was extremely suspicious, because this was the place where the 18 floors of Sacred Dan Realm were located. How could there be such a place? Not to mention immortal qi, there wasn't even spiritual energy. Where are we going? Chen Xiang asked. He was sure that Du Hai would bring him to a safe place, but if the illusions were too weak, it would be extremely difficult for him to cultivate. To the real Sacred Dan Realm, do you think that's all there is to it? Before, when Du Hai hid in the Chaotic Mountain, he was only waiting for the right opportunity to take revenge. But now, he wanted to help Chen Xiang escape, so he had no choice but to bring him here. Chen Xiang was a little surprised. He felt that this 18 layer should be a very small place, but it was not the real Sacred Dan Realm. What is a real Sacred Dan Realm? Chen Xiang asked. Where there is a pill saint, there is only a corner of the Sacred Dan Realm. Chen Xiang already knew that it was impossible for the Sacred Dan Realm to be that simple. Otherwise, he wouldn't be called Sacred Dan Realm. However, he had thought that the most powerful part of the Sacred Dan Realm was actually within the Chaotic Mountain. There is a way to get to the Saint Core Realm in the Chaotic Mountain. That is where the true alchemy civilizations gather. It's just that there are a few demons causing trouble there occasionally, but it's still safe. Long Yanjing doesn't dare to mess around there. Du Hai saw the doubt on Chen Xiang's face and continued to speak. Honestly, there are only two paths to the Sacred Pill Realm. The first is right here and I just discovered it, because the second is in the Chaotic Mountain and only a few people know it. The road we're walking on isn't safe either. We might run into dangerous guys. I think that the Saint Core Realm would intentionally seal off this corner to guard against the primal chaos race. In this corner that is sealed by the real Sacred Dan Realm, not only is the primal chaos race a threat, there are also many secret pious sages that can lead to some worlds. This might be the reason behind the seal. Chun Xiang was a little excited, a real sacred Dan realm, where the pill saint exists. He felt that there must be a lot of spirit medicine there. I'll send you in, I plan to stay here, Du Hai said. Elder Du, can you help me take care of some of my friends? I'm worried for their comfort. Chun Xiang still hadn't received any news from Lu Menger yet, so he could only entrust the matter to him. He told Du Hai in detail about the situation and told him to look for Huang Jintian and the others. In front of them was a sea of flames. Along the way, they did not encounter any kind of danger, but this stretch of burning land looked extremely terrifying. Especially that kind of threatening fire, it made Chun Xiang feel that this was another Earth's core fire realm. He was extremely powerful in the DT on Earth's core fire realm and had yet to finish exploring it. However, the one in front of him looked to be about the same as the Earth's core fire realm. Just cross this sea of fire, you should be able to do it, right? I will not keep you company, I will quickly find your friends, although my Du family is dead, but I have many friends, you can rest easy. Du Hai said anxiously. He was in a rush and threw a piece of paper to Chun Xiang. Go to that side and be careful of this woman, she is a very terrifying woman. Okay, you can go in. Chun Xiang opened up the piece of paper and saw that the portrait was actually by Ziqian. Bai Ziqian was offered a bounty, and with 10 immortal pills as the bounty, it even stated the reason why she was offered the bounty. Because of the forbidden poison that was magical corruption gas. Chun Xiang took a deep breath and said, I understand. Chun Xiang entered the sea of fire, stepped on the shrinking step, and ran in the direction Du Hai indicated. Bai Ziqian actually came to Sacred Dan realm, which made him excited. This beautiful poisonous woman was Bai Yuyu's elder sister, and he had taken advantage of her a little back then. However, her situation was not looking good. After using the magical corruption gas to poison an immortal king, she would be hunted down no matter where she went. Chun Xiang traveled through the sea of flames. Judging from the temperature, he felt that the road he took was just outside of this fiery domain. If he went deeper, the temperature of the flames would definitely be very high. If it was an ordinary person, it would be very difficult to pass through. At the very least, they would have to endure 5 nirvana tribulations before they would have enough strength to pass through. I have already said the 5 nirvana tribulations. When I return to Dtion, I won't let out that big flame lion. Chun Xiang was planning to get the super old fire beast back. Pulling it into the dragon subduing school was a good idea. Chun Xiang, if you go over there, can you help me find my sister? I really want to see her right now. Bai Yuyu looked at the portrait and looked at the beautiful woman with the pointy braids, feeling a little sad. Chun Xiang not only had a large number of magical corruption gas here, he also had the newly acquired drunk God flower. He had grasped 2 types of strange poisons, and if he wanted Bai Ziqian to be safer in the future, it would be for him to have more and more powerful strange poisons. Chun Xiang used 3 days of time to finally rush out of the sea of flames, arriving at a place with an extremely dense immortal energy. What made him astonished was, even though he was followed by a sea of flames, there was indeed a GRS slant about half the height of a human in front of him. Wah! What GRS is this? It's hotter than the sea of fire. Chun Xiang immediately flew up, and then stepped on the shrinking step, and ran towards the mountain spirit in the distance. Is this the true sacred Dan realm? It's much better than over there. Chun Xiang walked leisurely in the forest, wanting to see if there were any spirit medicines here. However, he discovered that there were traces of many people who had come here, and he felt that the real sacred Dan realm should not be so lacking in spirit medicines. These places are very suitable for growing spiritual medicines. There aren't many spiritual medicines, and they have all been harvested. It seems like the herbs here are very scarce, or some large force is doing this on purpose. Control the spiritual medicines and plant them in their own backyard. Su Meiyao said, There are many powers who have done this in the heaven realm. Chen Xiang built a cave here, and after hiding inside, he ate that small holy dragon core. Right now, he needed to quickly raise his strength, and any additional strength would allow him to be safer for a bit more. A dragon's roar suddenly woke Chen Xiang up. His heart trembled, because the Dragon Emperor was coming over. When the Dragon Emperor came over, he immediately came to the Chaotic Mountain, and it was not just the Dragon Emperor. He brought a lot of strong warriors, but most of them were human experts. From their clothes, one could tell that they were the heavyweights of the traders in the heaven realm. Chen Xiang, come out. No matter where you hide, I will find you. Dragon Emperor's rough and powerful voice was recalled to this side of the sacred Dan realm, but he did not hear Chen Xiang.